All right, what's going on, everybody? Good morning. Uh, as everybody knows, the big news: Frank Warren and Queensberry have won the purse bid for Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte, $41 million, and everyone's excited. But there are some people who are cautiously optimistic on whether this fight's going to happen or not. And shout out to Ring IQ because I watched his video the other day when he was talking about this fight. And he was talking about how people on Twitter were going at him. A lot of the Fury fans, and I'm a huge Fury fan, as everyone knows, but it's tough being a Fury fan, man, because the guy is so volatile. He's so unpredictable. You never know what he's gonna do. He says one thing 1 minute and does another minute. So it's hard to keep up with this guy, and it's hard to really defend the guy. I mean, it's not our jobs as fans to defend fighters and be fanboys, but like I said, it's hard to uh, justify some of the things this guy does. But Ring IQ's taking some heat from people on Twitter because he's still skeptical on whether or not this fight is going to go through, right? And I also said similar things when Fury was reported to be fighting Joshua in Saudi Arabia. I got some inside knowledge, and I knew that fight was never going to happen. I knew that they were just stalling all along, and I knew the third fight with Wilder was going to happen. And I said it probably 6 to 8 months when Hearn kept saying week after week, fight's close with Joshua and Fury. The fight's close with Joshua Fury. I kept telling everyone it was bullshit, and everyone started attacking me too. You know, they were saying that you just don't want to see undisputed, right? And that wasn't the case. Again, boxing fans are funny, right? I'm gonna make an analogy here. The Ray Donovan movie I was watching, and Smitty, Bridget's husband, Bridget's Ray Donovan's daughter. She married this guy, Smitty. He got killed in season 7, and the movie Ray Donovan that came out, I think it was January. Come out January, right? Come out this month. So they started off the movie with them going to the wake of Smitty, and then they went back to the apartment, Ray's apartment. And then Ray and his brothers were laughing and dancing, reminiscing about old times. And Bridget was in the other room, and she comes in, and she looks at them and says, "What are you doing?" Right? And she goes, "Oh." They're like, "Nothing, nothing," right? Nothing, Bridge. And she says, all of you have one thing in common, and you got this from Mickey. Mickey's the father. You just know how to forget, right? Meaning they can just forget. They've all had uh, issues where they got in trouble, they killed people, did some crappy things to people, whatever, and they have a way of just blocking it out of their mind and just forgetting. Boxing fans are the same way. They have a way, and I use this word a lot. It's just cognitive dissonance, right? The highest level of cognitive dissonance that I've ever seen in my life is the boxing fans, right? They just ignore behavioral patterns, right? They just lie to themselves and pretend that things have not happened and there hasn't been a pattern of behavior. If they like a fighter, they can just find a way to just ignore anything they've done in the past and just block it out because they've been taught how to forget, or in their mind they want to forget. They lie to themselves. Tyson Fury has a checkered past. He's very volatile. Now he had that, as everyone knows, he had the rematch all signed, sealed, and delivered with Klitschko, and they even had press conferences. They even had a press conference for the fight, and at the last minute he pulls out of the fight. So to sit there, and he's pulled out of other fights too. I believe he pulled out of a fight with Ustinov as well, and he just has a way. Nothing's ever easy with Tyson Fury. He always has a way of no matter what, there's always controversy, right? There's always issues with Tyson Fury fights. Even with the Deontay Wilder situation, right? They tried to milk that for as long as they could. Went through the arbitration, the BS arbitration, but they knew all along that they weren't going to be able to get out of that rematch. I told everybody that they were just stalling for time because all they wanted to do was put the fight in front of a live audience. And at the time when the rematch was originally scheduled, they couldn't do that because of the COVID restrictions. It was all a coup. But Tyson Fury kept saying, "Oh, I'm fighting Joshua next." Again, like so Ring IQ's taking some heat because he's skeptical on whether or not this fight's going to happen. And again, I'm the biggest Tyson Fury fan of all time. I'm a huge Tyson Fury fan, but I'm a realist. I'm a realist, and the reality of the situation is he could say he could just say I don't want to fight Dillian Whyte. The last minute he could just say I don't want to fight Dillian Whyte, and the fight's not going to happen. It could happen. And oh, Beeb, you just don't want no. I want the fight to happen, but I'm cautiously optimistic because Tyson Fury is so unpredictable, right? And he does even after the first Deontay Wilder fight, instead of going right back into a rematch where it would make all the sense in the world to do so, strike while the iron's hot. What does he do? He has two tune-up fights, if you will. I hate to call them tune-up fights because I don't like to degrade fighters, but he has two fights against lower level, stay busy type fights, right? And instead of going into the immediate rematch, and originally he wanted the same thing in this situation before fighting a Dillian Whyte or an Anthony Joshua. He wanted or the winner of Anthony Joshua versus Usyk. He likes to have stay busy in between softer touches in between the big fights. He doesn't like to go back to back into big fights. That's just his history, So it's hard to ignore that. Now Frank Warren and Queensberry did win the purse bid, and when you do win the purse bid, you have to put up a deposit, and I believe it's 20%. It was 20% for Kambosos versus Lopez. So Trilla had to put up $1.2 million of that $6 million bid, right? So if Warren and Arum and Queensberry and Top Rank, if they have to put up 20%, that's $8.2 million, guys. And then you're saying, people, there's no way that Tyson Fury doesn't care, bro. He doesn't care if people lose money. I mean, they had the fight already signed with Klitschko. They were doing press conferences. There was already money being put into that event, right? And I don't think it was 8.2 million. I doubt it, but just because someone put, it's a 10% deposit because it's such a okay, it was 20% for Trilla, but again, that was the IBF mandatory, so maybe it's 10%. I don't know. So if it's 10%, it's like 4 million and change. But again, I do know Bob Arum does not like to lose money, right? So even if it's 10%, I'm not sure if it's 10% or not. I don't know if it's 10 or 20, but for the sake of argument, if it's 10%, right? That's $4 million. Yeah, I mean, Ring IQ may not be the biggest Fury fan, but I do believe he respects him as a fighter. He knows the guy's talented, but it's hard to not be critical of Tyson Fury's behavior. And I think not only Ring IQ, but there's a lot of people who just don't like the bullshit, right? They don't like the contradictions and the hypocrisy. So, I mean, Ring IQ has a right to have that opinion of Tyson Fury because, once again, behavior is proof. But there's a lot of cognitive dissonance out there. I'm telling you, I'm the biggest Tyson Fury fan out there. I've been following this guy since the McDermott fight, guys, and I was on the Boxing Voice back in the day, right around the time when he fought the Chisora rematch, and I was telling everyone this guy's going to be heavyweight champ of the world, and I told everyone he was going to be Klitschko. They were laughing at me. He was 4-1 underdog. I bet on him. I made a lot of money. I've been riding with Fury forever, but the reality of the situation is, I'm not gonna cap for any fighter, man. If I can't justify some of the stuff he's done in the past. And there is history of him changing his mind, saying things and doing another. He's a very hypocritical, contradicting type person. And he's not really dependable either. Drop of the dime, this guy can just say fuck it all and retire. It could happen. No one wants to accept that, or a lot of Fury fans don't want to accept that. But this is probably the biggest Fury fan out there, because I've been riding with him for the longest time. Like, damn, since like 2010-ish, right? 2010-ish, 2011-ish. I've been riding with this guy for almost 11, 12 years, right? And I've been saying this guy, is going to be the man at heavyweight. I believed in this guy, but again, you have to just look at the history of this man. You have to look at the history. You have to look at the empirical data. Behavior is proof. And again, don't get all excited. Everyone was getting all excited too when they were talking about that big Saudi thing with Joshua, right? Now, I know there was no money put up. I know there was no purse bid or anything. But if that gentleman in the chat who says they only put up 10%, so they put up like 4 million or 4.1 million, whatever the percentage, 10% of that, 41 million, right? 4.1 million, right? So they got 4.1 million. Tyson Fury don't care about that, guys. It's not his money. It's Bob Arum and Frank Warren's money, right? Or at least the money they got from ESPN. But I don't believe it's network. I believe that the promoter's got to go into his pocket for at least a deposit, right? So if Bob Arum and Frank Warren are going into their pocket, 2 million a piece, right? Fury don't care about that. Fury don't care about that. Yes, I do remember that. And it was like pulling teeth to actually get that fight off. So it did, it actually did happen. But once again, there's been other fights that have not happened with Fury, right? So we'll see what happens. I'm cautiously optimistic. Everyone thinks this is a done deal, but there's still COVID out there, like Eric Rosas says, right? There's still COVID out there with someone who knows Fury can get COVID again. Dillian Whyte can get COVID. I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy here, but something could happen. The arbitration's still out there. They could still have issues getting the deal done, because both guys still have to get the deal they want, and they have to be happy. So who knows? Just because this purse bid has been won by Frank Warren and Queensberry in Top Rank, I believe it has a part in this as well. Just because that is the case, then that doesn't mean that the fight is definitely a go. Even if they sign contracts, something could happen. Happened with Wilder Fury, right? It happened. It happened with Fury Klitschko, right? So who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what's going to happen? So I understand what Ring IQ is saying, and people on Twitter calling him a hater and criticizing him. He's got receipts, bro. We all have receipts. All we gotta do is look at Fury's behavior in the past. So all we gotta do is look at Fury's behavior in the past. I was skeptical whether or not that third Wilder fight was gonna happen. So just cross your fingers, man. Cross your fingers, and let's just all be cautiously optimistic together and hope this fight happens. I think it'd be a huge fight, man. They put this fight in the UK. Be on who would be the pay-per-view carrier over there? Would they put it on this BT Sport? Does BT Sport over there have a pay-per-view arm? Would they do the pay-per-view in the UK? And obviously, I think ESPN would do the pay-per-view here. So, did White pull out of a Joshua rematch? That is totally incorrect, sir. They never signed for a fight. See, and this is the thing now. See, now you have the Fury defense team, and I'm the biggest Fury fan of all time, but you can't show me any link, and there was never a contract for White. White was negotiating with Joshua, and he decided that he did not want to take the fight because he didn't like the money that was offered to him. There was no contract signed. So how could he have pulled out? Come on. Once again, the cognitive dissonance just kicks in. People can't look at the reality of the situation. White, you can't pull out of some, again, I can't. That person, George Foster, has to be ignored because you can't pull out of something that you didn't sign. You can't. Now, he did pull out of the Otto Wallen fight. That is correct. I just said that White could pull out of the negotiations, but you're saying that he pulled out of a fight with Joshua. That's false. Correct yourself and say he pulled out of the negotiations. Apologize and say I was wrong, and just correct yourself. I mean, we're all men here. We make mistakes. I make mistakes. I say things I have to retract too. You can't pull out of negotiations. However you want to. Again, now you just whatever you want to do, brother. You just want to be right. Again, this is the cognitive dissonance of the sport. This is how the sport runs. I mean, I hate to say this, but we got the worst boxing fans boxing fans are the worst. We have the worst fans in the world over here, man. Worst fans. All right. Thank you so much, Slide Tendencies. He says, Big Dog, Joe Habib, how the hell are you, brother? Shout out to Ringside. Fury gonna pecker slap Dillian shit. Hey, I think he's gonna win the fight. I think it's a great style matchup. George, I'm not disputing that, George, Mr. Foster. He did pull out of the Wallen fight. I don't now. What's the other fight you're saying he pulled out of? Because there was never a fight with Joshua rematch. I mean, again, when you say something correct, yeah, you're right. But I also said that White could pull out too. But Fury is a little bit more. I'm not going to say a little bit. Fury has shown to be more undependable than White. The only fight that I know White pulled out of was the Wallen fight. If anyone, again, that's the only fight I know. If anyone can tell me another fight that he pulled out of, then I'll listen. I'll listen. But I only know of one fight that White pulled out of. And again, I could be wrong. That's correct. He was injured and he showed proof. I have no problem with him. I have no problem with what he did in the Wallen fight. But there's some people in the chat that do. So I'm not here to take shots at White, but Fury definitely has a worse track record than Dillian Whyte when it comes to reliability and going through with fights. So I mean, I'm just being honest. So I'm cautiously optimistic the fight happens, but I'm not gonna. Even if the contracts are signed, something could still happen. And again, you guys can say what you want about Dillian Whyte, but Dillian Whyte's waited too long for this. I just don't think he'll crawl into the ring if he has to for this fight. I don't think Dillian Whyte's pulling out of this fight. I just don't. Does Top Rank ever make their money back? Bob Arum's got a net worth of $300 million, according to reports. I don't know how accurate that is, but Bob Arum is a very wealthy man. Okay, so he's made his share of money over the years. Trust me. Fury has a known history. People purposely like ignoring the facts and things that actually happened. They can easily look it up. It's not hate by talking about exactly, you know. And you know, I like what I Ring IQ brought it up in his latest episode of the Relay. He was showing some. I think he showed a tweet from one person. I'm sure there's been other people too that have probably taken shots at him at Twitter. But yeah, Fury could pull out of the negotiations. He could pull out of the fight even when it's signed. Something could happen. I mean, again, nothing is ever easy with Fury. All you have to do is look at the last situation he had with Wilder. The whole arbitration thing. That was a sham that I said from the beginning, because all they wanted to do, Top Rank and Frank Warren, was put that fight in front of a live crowd, and they stalled it out as long as they could so they could put it in front of a live crowd. That's just that that could be disputed and debated, but that's just my opinion. I believe they knew all along what was going to happen. Why would Fury pull out for $30 million? He's a clear favorite to win. Why did he pull out of the Klitschko rematch? Why does Fury do any of the things he does? You have to ask Fury that, right? Why did Fury say he was gonna fight Anthony Joshua when he knew that he was gonna fight Wilder? Yeah, I mean, again, we still don't know if Fury's gonna get in the ring. No, he pulled out of the Ustinov fight too. Yeah, pulled out of 2 fights, postpones fights, says he's going to fight certain guys, and then won't even come to the table with it. There's a lot of information out there with Fury. People actually think promoters will admit the fighters ducking. Aram, morning G Funky, will admit that fighters ducking, but Aram is honest because he's I mean, a lot of this is with Aram too, because Aram is trying to make sure that he makes money and Top Rank makes money. So not all these moves are 100% Tyson Fury's idea too. You know what I mean? So yeah, okay. Whatever you want, George. Whatever you want to say, brother. Whatever you want to say. Whatever you want to say. I'm not here to be Tyson Fury's lawyer, but if you want to do that, you can. So the new definition of hate now, especially on social media and in the YouTube boxing community, is it's called hate when you say something that someone doesn't want to hear. So why don't you just say, Beeb, you're telling me something that I don't want to hear. I don't like what you're saying. It bothers me. It upsets me. It elicits a negative response from me. And I just don't feel good about it about myself when you say those things. Just say that. That's the new definition of the word hate. I'm saying something that you don't want me to say that bothers you. I can guarantee you, I'm a grow up. That's a deflection. Shouldn't you be the one growing up? You're the one throwing a temper tantrum in the chat, crying about me saying things about Fury that you don't like. It hurts you. You're another grown man crying about what someone's saying about a person that he's never met. And you're telling me to grow up. Why are you here, bro? I'm the one pulling the strings. You're in my chat. I'm the one triggering you, daddy. I'll drop you a link, but you won't come on, though. You won't come on. You won't come on, sir. You will not. Come on, Mr. George Foster. If White is not a big draw, why did Frank bid 41 million? I think this fight will be a big fight over in the UK. Maybe you guys over in the UK can tell me. I think we do a lot of pay-per-view buys over there. I think it would sell out a stadium. I think Dillian Whyte is a big name over there. He does good numbers over there, right? He's always made decent money over there. He's very popular. So Chandler Rim says massive flop of a flight. White won't sell. Did Top Rank overbid? I don't know. I mean, Frank and Top Rank bid together. So yeah, Fury is my favorite fighter in boxing right now, guys. So yeah, I think Frank and Bob just didn't want, like Ring IQ said this too. He said there's no way they were going to let Matchroom handle this fight. George H says 1 million pay-per-view in the UK and will be a stadium. Yeah. M Stack says no one knows White. He's living off getting knocked out by AJ over. I don't know about that. I mean, he's known over in the UK. I'll tell you that. Raphael can tell you that. There's a lot of Dillian Whyte fans in the UK. There's definitely a lot of fans over there in the UK. So let's do a poll. Will the fight happen? Will Fury White happen? Next. See what the people say in the poll. White has done more pay-per-views in the UK than Fury. Yeah, I believe that. I've seen a lot of White's fights on DAZN, and I believe in the UK. That they were pay-per-view fights. But you guys have DAZN now over in the UK, so I don't think this fight's not going to be on DAZN. I don't think. I think DAZN may have some international rights in other countries. I don't think they're going to. In the UK, I think it's going to be on pay-per-view. Ralph, let me ask you a question. I should probably understand. That's kind of weak. I don't like undecided. I like people to be clear. I don't like people who straddle the fence. Who does the pay-per-view for Danny? What's up, brother? Who does the pay-per-view for BT, right? BT does the pay-per-view? Okay. Dan, is this fight going to happen or what?
Oh, man. It's, to me, honestly, it's hard to tell, man. Hard to tell. What's up? Hello?
I said Ralph's in the chat. He says he's undecided, man. That's a cop out, man. You have to say yes or no. Come on, man.
I would look. Let's just say this. Morally, I would say yes, but there is that little if factor. And the reason why I say that is because after Hearn lost the purse bid and Frank Warren wins it, how come they've been quiet on the Matchroom side? How come they've been quiet about it? I mean, Dillian hasn't said nothing about it. Hearn hasn't said nothing about it. So it makes me believe that something's going on to the point that they're trying to find a way out of this, because since they have no say or no control over the fight, because that was their ultimate end game, to have control of the fight, since they don't have control of it, what's the next option here? Because, Dillian probably is not going to want to go into Lions Den where he's going up against it with Hearn and Top Rank. He has no advantages whatsoever. In fact, yeah, people are saying that he's getting his highest purse. I get that. You could say that's somewhat of a win for him. But the problem is that more than likely he's not going to get any upside money on it, no back end. So he's out of that. Warren can say, well, you're only getting a flat fee. We don't have to give you anything else beyond that. The only thing you're going to get, you get a bonus if you beat my guy by the WBC. That's all you're getting. That's it.
Well, let's look at the figures here. So Do you hear what happened with the WBC? The WBC gets 10% of it, and they're giving 10% to the winner.
Yeah. That's my point. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
You heard that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So if Dillian wins, he'll get 10%. He'll get a bonus, but that's all he's going to get. He's not getting any pay-per-view revenue, no ticket revenue, no TV licensing.
Why isn't he getting any of that?
I doubt that they're going to negotiate it. Here's the thing, though.
I disagree with that, Dan.
Well, fair enough, but Frank Warren is a vindictive guy. You know how many times Dillian went out and chastised Frank Warren publicly?
No, he'll get some of the pay-per-view revenue, Dan. I don't think they're going to freeze him out of the pay-per-view.
They can if they want to.
I mean, they could try. So Tyson Fury's guarantee will be $29,520,000.
Correct.
Right. And Dillian's will be 20% of that.
Yeah.
7,380,000.
Right.
I mean, Dillian, I gotta be honest, a lot of people are taking shots at Dillian, but Dillian, if this all goes out as planned, Dillian did end up getting more money and still could get more money depending on how the arbitration goes. Troy, what's going on, man? Is this fight gonna happen or what? Can we trust Fury? Can we trust these negotiations are gonna go smoothly without a hitch? What's gonna happen?
You can trust nothing until you see the two men in the ring and the bell rings. You can trust nothing.
So you're cautiously optimistic like me, right?
If you want to put it that way, sure, but I don't trust anything until I see the two men in the ring and the bell rings and they're fighting. All the other stuff about the pay-per-view, and that's not my business. I watch boxing to see competition and two guys fighting to see who's the best. Everything else, all that other minutia, not my problem.
Well, you have to know who's going to be broadcasting the fight because you're going to want to watch it. So the pay-per-view is your business because you got to buy it, right? Or I don't know if you're going to buy it, but you're going to watch it.
No, I'll buy the pay-per-view, but the purses and how much someone's getting paid, percentages.
Well, that's not everybody's cup of tea. I respect that when people say I don't like talking about the money. I like talking about the money, man. I like talking about the money.
Yeah, I mean, look. At the end of the day,
I like the business. I like the business side of the sport, man. I think it's intriguing. But go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say though, the choice point. Yeah, we all don't like to talk about it because back in the old days, this is something we were never prevalent. This is information we wasn't really prevalent to because that really didn't really matter as long as we got the fights. But now it seems like we have to have this understanding that boxing is a business. Unfortunately, I don't like to say that, but that's unfortunately the ugly truth. So we got to talk about the the money. We got to talk about what's involved, and sometimes it is a good conversation. It's an interesting conversation. So I mean, me personally, I guess you can put it at best, Beeb, that look, I am optimist. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I do have my doubts. I'm just being honest. I do have some doubts here because
I think
they still have to negotiate.
I think I have a feeling negotiations are definitely going to get dragged out and they're going to break down at some point.
Yeah,
I'm just being realistic about it. I know something is going to.
Don't say that, man. Don't say that.
I don't want to say it.
Breaking my spirit right now.
I don't want to say it.
Gonna happen.
Look at this. Beeb, you going with Dillian Whyte, right? No way. I'm going with my man Fury. Troy's going with Dillian Whyte.
100%.
Coach Malachi is going with Dillian Whyte. I think Ring IQ thinks Whyte can win. There's a lot of people.
That's a
not
shocker.
A lot, but there's some. Who else is picking Whyte?
I'm not.
It ain't gonna fucking happen.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
think it'll
Chandler.
happen.
Go ahead, Chandler.
It's not gonna happen. This is just some fucking. And not to be like a conspiracy theorist or any shit, but this is probably just something like the WBC put out. They wanted to get the fight going. It ain't gonna happen. Somehow it's gonna end up being like Fury drops out and then Usyk's gonna step in, or somehow AJ is gonna get a shot at Fury, avoid Usyk. I don't know. It's not gonna happen. Nobody wants to see a Dillian Whyte fight.
Well, can I say something? Can I add something about this? Can I add the X factor here? Let's not forget. I know people are thinking, will Fury find a way out of this fight? Maybe. I'm not going to dismiss that fact. But let's not dismiss the fact that this is the X factor here. Dillian Whyte has... What's up? That could happen. I hope God that won't happen, but that could be a possibility. But I'm just saying, though, Dillian Whyte has pulled this before where he lost a purse bid and he pulled out of a fight. Kubrat Pulev, anyone? Remember that
Yeah,
situation
I
with the
remember
IBF?
that. Yeah.
Yep. So when he doesn't get no sense of control of the fight, he'll find a way out of it.
Yeah,
So
that's a
this
good
is not
point, Dan. I didn't
yeah,
think of that, Dan.
right.
That's why I'm glad I brought you on. I didn't think about that.
I wanted to say something too real quick.
He didn't pull
There
out.
was
He
an
was
interview.
offered the Parker fight, which was a much bigger fight.
He
and
pulled
it
out
meant
of the
more
fight,
for his
Troy. Come
career,
on, man.
and that's why he
Troy,
took the
don't
fight.
make no
Let's
excuses.
slide. Let's
Cut it
slide
out,
it in.
man.
Let's slide it in real quick.
Well, real quick, I was going to tell
let's
y'all
slide
a
it
few
in.
months ago, John Fury did a big interview with BT Sport and he was talking about the Dillian Whyte fight. This is before they announced anything, and he said that they asked him like, what do you think about Dillian Whyte being the mandatory? And John said, we don't really like making people that we hate rich, is what he said. Talking about Dillian Whyte, he said, we'll probably wind up doing it, but we really don't like making people we hate rich because all he does is run his mouth. He goes, but at the same time, we want to shut him up and all this other stuff. So when people was saying, oh, they might not do it, I remembered him saying that shit, and I was like, damn, it might not happen now.
There's
Who's
so
weak?
many
He's not
better
training.
fights to make in the
He's not getting in
heavyweight
the ring.
division than Fury
You know who's
White.
weak?
In Troy's defense of Dillian Whyte, that Pulev fight was like a much smaller fight than the Parker fight. And again, I'm not saying he didn't avoid that, didn't want that Pulev fight. I'm not saying he chose, he didn't not fight that fight when it was, but I just think that this fight, there's nothing else bigger for him right now because he's not going to be able to fight Usyk or Joshua anytime soon, right?
Well, let me just say, can I
Let me say this real quick.
It might be his last chance to get the belt.
Hold on, real quick, please. Let me say this. You all say he pulled out of the Pulev fight. Tyson Fury pulled out of a much bigger fight. Remember that rematch that he was supposed to have with Klitschko?
Yeah.
How come? Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's
how come you didn't mention that?
I didn't say that.
Why did he pull out? No. Why
did White?
Why did he pull out? Why did he pull out? Was it for a bigger fight?
Troy,
No, because he wanted to get high and drunk.
Hey, man,
He did say that earlier, Troy. You weren't in here.
Yeah, you got to keep up. I said that already about Tyson Fury. I had my doubts
Joe
about it.
We said that too at the beginning of the show.
Exactly,
yeah, we said
right.
that.
And he sat down for 3 years after that and got high and drunk.
Troy, you got to keep up, bro. You got to keep up. We said that already.
It's those that quit fighting. No, I'm not done. I'm not done. You're not going to
I'm telling you that you got to keep up, man. We already said that already.
He was at the top, but look, he was at the top. He was at the very top, Tyson Fury, and he stated to the world, I don't know what I'm going to do. Then he pulls out with the biggest fight ever. Why? Because he wanted to get high and drunk. Well,
that's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, White did was the pull out. It was a sensible business move. That's what he did.
Let me ask you a question.
It's pull out on this end, but it's sensible business move on the other.
Let me ask Dan a question real quick.
Go ahead, Pete. Go ahead.
Did he actually sign to fight Pulev, or he just didn't want to sit down and negotiate with Pulev?
Good question. I don't think he wanted to sit down and negotiate.
So
nobody on this panel knows. Not one person.
No. Hold up.
So we can't say he pulled. Hold on. We can't say he pulled out of the fight with Pulev if he didn't agree to it.
Well, no. Here's the thing, Beep. Here's the thing. Hearn was very confident they were going to win the purse bid against Pulev. That's why they wanted to go there, because they thought they were going to get control of the fight.
Was that an eliminator? What was that fight for?
That was the IBF final title eliminator. Whoever won that fight would be the mandatory challenger to Joshua's title at the time when he was the champion.
So that may not have been a great move on Dillian Whyte's part, because he would have, unless he didn't want to fight Joshua.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that's the thing, though. He's been running around talking about I'm getting hard done by they getting a title shot at the WBC, but then you had an opportunity with the IBF and you pulled out of it. Because you didn't get control of the fight.
He was offered a fight and he did not accept it. That's not the same as pulling out. Though.
Yeah.
We have to be clear on that.
Well, no. Here's the thing. Well, let's be clear on this one. They were negotiating with Pulev.
Not just you, Dan. I don't mean to interrupt you. I apologize. Not just you, Dan. But there's people in the chat saying, Dillian Whyte pulled out of what was it? There was another fight that he didn't even sign to fight. It was another fight. Oh, he said pulled out of the Joshua rematch. No, he was offered a rematch with Joshua, and he didn't want the fight because he didn't like the offer. So that you can't say if someone's offered a fight and they don't accept the offer, I don't think it's not the same as pulling out. And I'm not jumping on you, Dan, but there was a guy in the chat named George Foster saying that he pulled out of a fight with Joshua. That's not true.
No, he
Hey,
didn't pull
who-
out. He just turned down the fight. So I guess
Yeah, there's a
down the
difference
fight.
between a
Yeah, well,
pullout and turning down an offer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Who
mean, there's
was
two
the
different
guy
terms. I get it. I get
Clownacki
that.
just
Get
lost
that.
to?
But to
You
your
offer the
point,
guy nothing, he turns you down, and then you call him a coward for pulling out. Like, what do you mean?
Who was the guy?
well, let me just
Adam
say this. Let's
Klimowski or
wait.
Clownacki
Can I say
just
something?
lost
Let me
to?
just clarify this. Well, can I clarify something real
Go ahead,
quickly?
Dan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Pulev and White. Yeah, Pulev and White. Pulev and White were in negotiation before the purse bid was called. So let's keep that in the bag. They were in negotiation. Both sides could not come to terms, and because of that, they went to a purse bid,
So-
which the Matchroom fought very confident they thought they were going to win.
So
And
Dan,
since they
I don't wanna-
lost,
So
Yeah.
Dan, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what you're saying is you believe he didn't fight Pulev because Eddie Hearn did not win the purse bid.
I believe that.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair
That's
assessment.
plausible.
That's
Hey,
I
plausible.
believe that.
Beeb, what was the dude's name who just lost to Clownacki?
Konaki?
Lost or won or beat him.
Hellenius.
He beat him. He beat him twice.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hellenius?
Yeah, that's who I think's most likely to fight Fury next.
It could happen, man.
I think that's the most
Possible.
realistic fight until we have that Usyk and Joshua rematch when
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna just be 100% honest. I just have a feeling this fight's not gonna happen.
No, I
And-
agree.
Yeah, I'm with you on Beeb.
and I want it to happen. And I know people are gonna be. They're saying the same thing to me when I said the Fury Joshua fight wasn't gonna happen in Saudi. Oh, you just don't want the fight. No. Again, I'm looking at the reality of the situation. I'm looking at the past of Fury, and you can look at the past. I don't think Dillian. I don't know. Dillian may not like the money. I don't know. He may still think. He may say I want 10. I'm not going to settle for this guarantee of 7.2. I'm going to hold firm on my 10. So I don't know. Maybe and I'm not saying Dillian's wrong here, but at the end of the day, he's getting more than the 5.5 they originally offered him. So he's already it's paid off for him to be diligent like this and fight for what he wants.
I don't get why Team Fury would do this when you can get something to get pretty much the same pay-per-view numbers and you get somebody a lot cheaper to fight. Like the people aren't gonna like this one, but old fucking Luis Ortiz, I could see Fury fighting him too, giving him one.
You know what? I think
God.
I think the strategy was. Yeah, I think the strategy was that they didn't want Matchroom to get control of the fight. That's why they played the bid, as Eddie Hearn would put it out. Because if you listen to his interview, the day when the talks of step side have fell through, he wasn't quite confident that he was going to win the purse bid because Kugan Cassis or Rob Tippett asked him, "Hey, okay, since now you say that the Fury White's going to go ahead, how confident are you about winning the purse bid?" He said, "Yeah, we like our chances, but anything could change." So to me sounds like there was no confidence that there was possible that he was going to lose.
Kills this whole narrative too that Eddie Hearn has these just bottomless pockets too.
Well, he's the one who said that.
That's what I mean though. Like because everybody, I'm not talking about what Eddie Hearn said. I'm talking about what everybody says about him. Oh, he's got an indispensable amount of money. He's not going to lose this bid. I just looked at him like, man, why are you acting like the people he's competing with are broke?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought that Eddie Hearn was gonna definitely win this purse bid. That was my opinion. And here's the thing. I don't know if people know this. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. It's not like an auction. Like nobody knows what anyone's bidding. It's like a blind bid, right? So
true.
My question is, if Eddie Hearn knew they were gonna bid 41 million, would he have gone higher? Because I think Eddie Hearn may have. Because I think Eddie Hearn really won. Because they do have the resources. And if I'm Eddie Hearn and I'm bidding 31, I don't know, man. And here's another rumor I heard. Like Eddie Hearn was only going to offer Dillian Whyte like 1 million more than what Top Rank was going to offer him. So still not what he wanted, right?
Yeah, and I think that's another reason why Dillian could be pissed off.
More than Dillian Whyte deserves.
Why is there such a one-sided conversation about money and Dillian Whyte? Why aren't we focusing on the heart of the fight, which is two men fighting? Why are we focusing on
that's part of the conversation.
Hold up, please, man. Let me finish.
We're the ones paying for it.
Jump in. You don't have to jump in while I'm speaking. What I'm saying is, as fight fans, shouldn't we just focus on the 2 men that are going to fight in the ring? We have no control and no knowledge on what goal happens behind closed doors about who made this and who made that. That shouldn't even be important. Let's focus on the competition of the fight. Why is White gonna win? Why is Fury gonna win? And let's have that conversation because we have no control over the money part. Who gives a damn about that? Who gives a damn about it?
Well,
All right,
Didn't
I'll
you
sum
just
it up
bring
quick.
up the
White
fact
gets
that
fucking
Fury was
stupid
on
because he
cocaine and all
sucks.
this stuff?
let me answer that
That's
question.
the counter what you said. That's
Come
the
on,
counter what
man.
you said. That was a
Come
counter.
on, man.
That was a counter to what you said,
Wait,
man.
can I say
You
something?
still,
Can
you
I
still
say
said
something?
you,
Knock
you
it.
still said it,
That
Troy.
was the
You still
counter
said
to
it.
what you said.
Hey.
You still said it, Troy.
Okay?
You gotta own it. You still
I
said
don't
it. You
know,
gotta
man.
own
We
it.
probably
You're not dealing
Troy,
with no
you
dime a
probably have
dozen amateur up here, man. You said
I didn't
something,
say
and I
you were an
countered
amateur.
you.
We
I
might have
didn't
a different
start the
conversation.
conversation. I
Hey,
just
can I say
finished the
something?
damn
Oh,
conversation.
All right,
No,
all
you
right.
can't because I'm still
Troy,
speaking.
can I say something? If her won the first bid, Matthew got control of the fight, you probably sing a different tune right now, man. I
No,
don't
hell
know.
no. I
Yeah,
would say the same
exactly.
thing. I want to talk. Okay, first of all, man, how many times you heard me speak? I don't give a damn about money
No,
or
he's
who
been
wins first,
consistent
but
on
you,
that. Yeah, he's
yeah.
been
You know,
consistent
you
on that.
obviously have never heard me speak, right?
He's consistent on that.
You have
He don't
never
like
heard me
talking.
speak on anybody else's panel anywhere. I even have my own
But-
shows called the Troy Grand Experience. I don't talk about no money.
But
I'm a
but-
fighter.
but-
I want to talk about fights.
I'm
But
going
you
to
can't
subscribe
talk
to
about
your
the fight
channel.
Okay,
without
can I
giving
ask
the
Troy a
place.
question? Can I ask Troy a question? Hey, Troy, can I ask you a question? Should Joshua have stepped aside to allow the undisputed fight go ahead if it were to take place?
What the hell does that have to do with what we're talking about over here?
No, I want to see some consistency here. I'm just going to ask you, so since
What
you
does
want to
that
see the
have to
best
do with
fights.
White and
Well, I'm
Fury?
asking you a question.
It can't be
Can you answer
consistent
the
because it has
question?
nothing to do with the
Can you?
conversation. It has
I think
nothing
we
to
know
do with the
the answer.
conversation.
It
So why
does.
should
I'm
I ask
asking
you
you
a
a
question
question.
that has nothing to do with the conversation?
How are you
Yeah,
supposed
you're
to talk
trying
about
to
the
run
fight
away,
when
bro.
it's
You're
not
trying
even
to
in place?
It has
run
nothing to
away.
do
I'm
with
asking you a
White
simple
versus
question.
Fury. So why am I answering that question?
Yes, it does, because White is
Explain
accomplice
to
in
me
the
what it has to
situation,
do with
bro.
White
He
fighting
was
Fury.
part of
What does that have to do with White fighting
yes, it has
Fury?
Because without the money, there's no
well, first
fight.
of all, question.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I mean, these guys ain't fighting for box tops, bro.
Still. Well, listen, that's not our business as fans, man.
How
Okay,
do you
listen.
talk about a fight
Oh my
when it's
God,
not
dude.
even signed and dotted? Dude, we
I
could
have
start
talked
doing
about
what ifs. What
Holyfield
if
and
Mike
Bo.
Tyson fought
I have
Ali?
talked about
Like, what if all
Holyfield
this
and Bo.
stuff?
I've talked about Ray and Leonard. I've talked about a lot of different fights. Not one time did money come up. I talked about the competition
But
in the
why
ring.
is it so?
Why are we talking
Well, it
about
sounds like you're
But
competition
bitter
those
now?
because
fights
Hearn
actually
didn't win
happen.
that
This
first
one's not
bid.
Maybe
even
because y'all don't
signed.
know nothing about boxing.
It's not even
Maybe because
signed.
y'all don't know how to break down fights.
It's not
Okay?
signed.
It takes a
Did
level
you
of
just say we
intelligence
don't
to
know
be
nothing
able to
about
do that.
boxing?
And maybe you
Wait,
know
you
about
just
me
say
already because I have a reputation
Wait,
of being a very wise boxing mind. And maybe you
Oh,
know that you swim in the deep
Who
waters
told
over here.
did
You
you come up
understand
with
me?
that
well,
yourself?
You understand?
Yourself?
You
I
understand?
was
You're
gonna
dealing
say,
with a killer
wait,
whale with me,
wait,
baby.
Slow down,
Troy,
slow
You
down,
Troy,
you gotta
you let other
understand.
people do
Wait,
about
You
can
gotta
you.
understand that my show is called the Troy Graham Experience for a reason.
Troy, do
Because
you really want to
I'm
have a
that
boxing
dude.
debate with me? You
I'm
really
that
want to have a
dude. I
boxing
come with the
debate with me?
passion. I come with the knowledge. If you
Who
want to
told
go
you
You
boxing,
really
that
want to
if
have a
you want to
boxing
talk
debate with
boxing
me?
with me, I'm all good for it. If you want to talk bullshit, I can do that when I feel like it. I don't feel like it this morning, but if you want to go back and forth, we could do that too. But let's just talk about the fight,
hold on,
man.
You
hold
want to
on.
have a
Let's talk
Jesus
about the fight,
Christ.
baby.
boxing debate?
Hold on,
You
hold
really?
He's a
Dan.
Oh, bro,
self-proclaimed
this is going off the
expert.
rails.
Hold on. Let me just say something.
I know this
I'm
is
not
getting
Jesus Christ, but when it comes to boxing, baby, I'm about the closest thing you got. Okay? Please.
I doubt that.
Didn't know you were a self-proclaimed expert on everything.
You have a boxing debate with me, Troy?
No, we don't gotta do that here, man. But here's
Let's
the
stay
thing.
on topic.
What's up,
for
Maestro?
Christ's sake.
Troy don't like the money, but my whole thing is he shouldn't get so mad when other people talk about the money.
Good point.
I mean,
Good
but
point.
there's a lot of different aspects to the sport, bro. You know what I mean?
But if you're not talking about the money, like we could start doing what ifs about any fight ever. Like what if Tyson
It's pro
was to
boxing.
fight
You have to.
Foreman?
It's
You know,
pro boxing. You have to include an economic analysis. It's like
it's a
Yeah.
highly important part of the fight.
it's like if
Remember,
you're an
too,
NBA fan.
this is a consumer good that we're paying
What's up,
for.
Maestro?
Absolutely.
What's up, Maestro?
Salute to Dan. Salute to Troy Chandler. Slide tendencies, and of course my brother Joe Habib. It's always interesting to me when people say, "Oh, well, I don't want to talk about the money," but it would be like you're a fan of, I don't know, the New York Knicks, and you're like, I want this player, this player, this player, this player. But there's a luxury tax, there's a salary cap. It's unfortunately with pro sports, you can't avoid the fact that you need to talk about the finances.
You don't have to talk about it at all. I talk about basketball, football. Money never comes up. It's just straight competition.
But that's you, Troy.
Well,
you can't get mad. You
You
can't
must
get
be a
mad when
fan.
other
You must be
people
a fan
do
of the
it.
NCAA then, which I prefer watching. I'm going to watch Michigan State, Michigan in a bit. I know what you're saying about that, but it's professional sports. It would be like me or Joe in union saying, we just want to talk about our work. We don't. Who cares
Forget
about
wages?
Who cares about the salary? We're professionals. It's part of the game.
I just think that's a weak.
What
That's a
does their
weak
purses have to
excuse.
do with me as a fan? How does their purses and how much they make have to do anything with my life as a fan?
Because
it
you
doesn't
might
bring
not
me any
see the fight.
excitement.
It's
Doesn't
whether
bring me
you're
any
going to see
drama.
the fight or not. It's going to affect whether you're going to see the fight or not. It's that simple.
Absolutely
Why
not.
is it-
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
What do you mean
absolutely.
absolutely
If the
not?
finances aren't there for a fight, the fight won't happen, and therefore you won't see it. So how is that absolutely not? I don't understand that.
That has nothing to do with me. Then the fight doesn't happen. You move on to another fight. That has nothing to do with me.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Yeah,
Hey,
go ahead.
Troy. Yeah, the reason why I asked you, why I asked you that question, do you favor Joshua to step aside, right? The reason why I asked that question is because, as I recall, when we talked before, you wanted Wilder to step aside. In that situation, we were talking about money. Am I correct?
Absolutely not. Thank you very much.
You took absolutely not.
What I said, I can tell you what I said. I have a good memory. You were full of heart, but anyway, what I said during that time was,
you wanted to step aside.
Let him talk, Dan.
You gonna let me finish? You gonna let? Thank you very much, man. Every time I say three words, this joker jumps in.
Let him talk.
Every single time I get to the third word, this dude jumps in.
Let him burn, Dan. Go ahead, man.
We were having, and I've had this conversation with a bunch of you Wilder junkies, right? What I'm saying is this: back then, when it was Wilder and all that, nobody knew about what really was going on with the whole court thing, and I said Wilder has no power to do anything. That is what I said. I know what the hell I said. I didn't get into detail with it. I said Wilder's retired. Let me finish. Everywhere I went, I said Wilder's retired, and I said Wilder doesn't have the power to do anything, so Fury doesn't have to step aside. Anything else that you are going to say is a damn blasted lie. Point blank.
You go. I have a question for people who said, "Oh, Fury's not going to take this fight. This purse bid isn't going to happen. Fury's ducking Whyte." Why is there this vitriol hate for Tyson Fury? I personally, it's vitriol. It's reactive. I don't really understand it at all times. Like, how does a guy who loses 150 pounds, coming off of being in poor health, and essentially takes on Deontay Wilder in his comeback fight, how is that guy afraid to fight Dillian Whyte, who I have all respect for, but who didn't look very good against Oscar Rivas? He didn't look that great against Joseph Parker. He didn't look that great against Marius Wach in the Dunes. That win was followed up with the KO loss to Povetkin, which was followed up with the win to... Somebody's got to explain to me why they think legitimately that Tyson Fury was avoiding this fight. Tyson Fury was avoiding Dillian Whyte, because personally, I just don't understand it.
Hey, can I get a point?
I'll explain it to you. I didn't hear anybody say that he was.
The reason why people are.
I personally never said that. I listen. I can personally say that I never heard a bunch of people say that he was avoiding him. I simply heard that he just didn't want to fight him for whatever reason, avoiding him, being afraid of him. I didn't hear none of that stuff. And the so-called hate.
One of my favorite channels has been saying that for over a month, that Whyte is avoided.
Maybe you should switch to other channels, because obviously we don't listen to the same channel. But let me finish, and then I'll shut the hell up for a long, long time. Then this hate with Fury. Where's the hate? I don't even feel it unless it's coming from the Wilder fans.
1, 2, 3.
Okay. I don't feel it. I mean, I don't really like watching him fight, but I don't hate him. I could care less if he ever fights again. And that's that. That's just that.
Well, can I say something about that?
Let Virtuoso get in. He just jumped.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. I feel like Fury's avoiding that fight. I think like stylistically it cannot bode well for him. A guy who fights at length has to keep off a guy who's a body snatcher, You know, he's got a soft, midsection. And to me, Fury recently has looked slow. You know, it's not as fleet-footed as he once was when he fought Klitschko. I could tell the difference. But yeah, I would say, Dillian Whyte is there for the taking. You know, he should have taken that fight straight away. I mean,
Let me
I
ask you this,
understand.
Virtuoso.
Yes.
Who has Dillian Whyte knocked out with a body shot?
It's not so much a body shot, but
I
like
mean,
he
he's
hurts
called you
people
just.
to the
I
body.
mean, you're one of the people whose opinion I respect tremendously when it comes to boxing.
Yeah.
But you just referred to him as the body snatcher. You know, to me, that's like a self-appointed nickname.
Yeah.
I don't really see him as a body puncher personally.
That's like Troy's self-appointed.
I don't know who is he knocked out to the body.
Can I make a quick
knockouts that I've seen have been hooks to the head?
Can I make a quick point? I'm sorry to interrupt you, Maestro.
Yeah, Joe. Yeah.
You know what this fight reminds me of? And correct me if I'm wrong. Dillian Whyte and Derek Chisora have very similar styles. Now, I said similar, not the same. Very similar. And Tyson Fury, really had his way with Derek Chisora because Derek Chisora is an inside guy, throws a ton of body shots. Go back to the Vitaly Klitschko fight. Vitaly Klitschko's body was red from those body shots. I'm not saying that he was winning the fight, but he gave Vitaly all he can handle, Derek Chisora, in that fight. And I think that fight is very similar. And Fury doesn't just fight at length. He's a very capable inside fighter, too. He's got a very good uppercut. And Dillian Whyte was very vulnerable defensively. He sometimes he leans in, lunges in with that hook, gets lazy with that jab.
So he got caught with the uppercut with Povetkin.
Yep.
And the other thing too, Wilder's not an inside fighter. Wilder almost exclusively fights at length and needs to get full extension on those punches. I mean, he has clipped guys with a little shorter shots, but he's not exactly an inside fighter.
Yeah.
When's the last time Whyte made it past 3 rounds? You go, oh, he still looks fresh. Never.
Yeah, he has stamina issues. He slows down. Listen,
can I say something real quickly? Maestro, to your point, I
thought Chisora beat Whyte the first fight too. I mean,
yeah, I did.
I thought he was beating him the second fight before the referee got involved and started taking points away.
He's looked very vulnerable to me, man.
Yeah.
Let him go, and then I'll go after.
Let Virtuoso finish up his point, though.
Yeah,
but I just want to say this. I want to say this about the purses, right? This 7.4 million, Whyte should take it, because that other money that's up for grabs, that should incentivize him to knock him out. You know,
testing.
Just take the fight already, and that's it. You know,
that's what Lennox Lewis said.
Yeah, all the squabble over purses, is more than enough that he demanded. I know he wanted 10 million, but look. You got 4.1 million up for grabs. Go take it, bro.
You know what's interesting about that too is that if it is true that he was offered 25% or 30%, which is what Bob Arum was saying. I don't remember. Someone correct me if it was 25 or 35. He might end up getting less in the long run. While the upfront might be better, he might be ending up getting less in the long run if he has to take 20% because of this purse bid, or even less with the win bonus. With the 10% going to the winner. So what do you guys think of that? I mean, was this a good move? The upfront is bigger, but the flip side of it is he might get less on the back end with 20% as opposed to 25 or 30.
Well, I don't know if it was going to be 25 or not from Bob Arum, but we still have the arbitration too.
Yeah.
So what if the arbitrator says we're going to give you 30? So he got the guarantee up front money. He's getting more than the 5.5. The pay-per-view revenue, would he have gotten an extra 5% on the back end? I don't know. Maybe. But we'll see.
There's an upside, right?
Yeah.
There's always a guarantee for both fighters on the pay-per-view side. Always. The only time I think there wasn't was when Danny Garcia fought that guy that wasn't even ranked. It's almost always there's a percentage that goes that splits between the champions. Obviously, the previous champion, if he keeps his belt, I think it stays higher. I can't remember how it works, but I was just going to say real quick, with the reason people are talking about Fury, they hate him and stuff, I think it's a combination of things. A lot of it's got to do with Dillian Whyte has, every time he gets to the pedestal, something happens.
Testing.
He gets screwed. And I'm a Fury fan, but nobody deserves the shot more than Dillian Whyte does, based on following the rules and all that stuff. And if we go by mandatories. So I think a lot of people are trashing him for that, which is not necessarily Tyson's fault. But the other thing, though, is that there's this big group of it's a lot of English people that don't like Fury because once he dropped the belts and everything, he went to America to promote a lot of fights. And ever since then, they're like, oh, he's a sellout. He doesn't want to have any fights here and all this other stuff. And
yeah, but it's like stupid. Ricky Haddon did that when he got big. I mean,
exactly.
He had all his major fights were in the U.S. I mean, Lennox Lewis did that, and AJ tried
where the
to
money
do it.
is.
AJ tried to do it against Ruiz, right?
They did now. Frank Bruno had his major fights in the US.
Can I respond to Sly Tendencies real quick?
Prince Nazim as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I?
Go ahead.
Sly Tendencies. I think it has something to do with UCAD and his boxing license. It's still being held up.
Oh yeah, you know what? I was going to bring that up because
I didn't think about that.
That's that's still unresolved
Nandrolone.
Yeah, that.
One thing Fury seems to never be forgiven for is that Klitschko situation when he had the rematch signed. They did the press conference, and he pulled out of that. And another thing,
he got screwed on that though too, because he had the IBF tried to make him fight a mandatory fight like 14 days after he won the belts.
Yeah, but here's another reason why people don't like.
It just shows that they didn't want him to be the champion.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say that. Can I say something about that? The IBF already mandated that the winner of Fury and Klitschko had to fight Glasgow, who was the IBF mandatory at the time.
14 days?
Well,
no, but Fury didn't fill out the paperwork in time. It was his fault. He couldn't fill out the paperwork, and they wouldn't have taken it away from him.
Well, not just that, he didn't fill out the paperwork. He didn't fill out the paperwork, but the IBF had no idea that these guys were going to have a rematch clause in there, which Klitschko put in.
All he had to do was fill out an exception form, and he would have been set. He didn't fill it out.
Yeah.
But let me get back to Fury. Let me get back to why people don't like Fury. And also, too, the whole the Nandrolone thing, they don't like that. They feel he wasn't honest about that. And then this whole thing with saying he was going to fight Joshua and leading the people on. There's some stuff there that people have some legitimate beef with Fury
about. Him leading them on, though. I mean, he didn't think that he was going to lose the arbitration with Wilder. I mean,
you know what, Maestro?
Bob Arum was.
I disagree with
that.
I disagree with that.
Let me just finish, and then let me finish my point, and feel free to disagree with it. But I remember right out of the gates, Bob Arum was saying that this is a wrap. It's a guaranteed win. There's no way Wilder's going to win this arbitration. So, I mean, I'm just a little bit wary, and this isn't just for Fury. This is me across the board, of when fighters get blamed for the actions of the people they pay for legal advice, management, and promotion. I don't have any evidence to show that Fury legitimately didn't think Wilder was going to win the arbitration.
Can I? Yeah, Maestro. Yeah, that's a good point. But I had my feelings about that because the day before the arbitration announcement came through, Tyson Fury comes out and says, well, I just spoke with Prince Khalid. The fight is on, yada, yada, yada. What I found bizarre about that announcement is that his promoters didn't even put up a following announcement right after that. Usually they would do that if a fighter comes out and say, yeah, the fight's on. They'll put up the advertisement, the networks would get involved. And he didn't even mention that the contract was signed. He didn't even say that. So I was like, okay, wait a minute. You didn't even announce that you signed the contract. You just said the fight was on. That was it. Your promoters are not saying anything about it. So I was like, why would you say this knowing that the arbitration ruling was still pending?
Yeah,
so,
just to lie about it. Eddie Hearn was saying the fight was pretty much ready to go. He had secured the deal.
I think he said that because he wanted to try to make people think that, like, look, this is going to happen 100%, and maybe they thought that would have some kind of influence on the judge's decision.
Possible, that's possible, but I think they also wanted to get in front of it because I think Fury knew that the decision was going to go in favor of Wilder. He wanted to get in front of it and say, "Hey, you can't blame me. I tried to make the fight."
There's a little bit of hometown cooking on that judge, in my opinion.
I'm going to stand by my original opinion on the whole situation. Yeah. Everyone involved in that situation, I believe, knew that Fury was going to fight Wilder next. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
I think they stalled it out because they wanted to put the fight in front of a live audience and they were waiting for the COVID restrictions to be removed.
What about Eddie Hearn though, Joe? Because
I think he was. I think
Eddie
he was
Hearn,
in on it
Eddie
too.
Hearn was like, oh, sorry, not Paul.
I even suspect
Bob Arum was playing me, trying to play me for a fool.
I even said back then, and I'm saying it now. I think Eddie Hearn knew too, and I think he was just trying to do that just for promotion.
Hey, can I get a point?
Wrestling stuff going on
just to keep Joshua's name in the headlines. And again, what do these guys always? What did Wilder and Joshua do? And what did Fury and Joshua always do? They use each other's names to promote their fights.
They do,
That's what they do.
Yeah, I mean, fighters been doing that for years, so it's nothing.
They always do that. So I think everyone involved in this situation knew what was going on.
So if all of that is true, then my question still stands: Why does Fury get singled out?
Because I think
he knew too.
Why did vitriolic hate for Tyson Fury?
I think he knew too.
He knew.
I believe he knew, but
I
can't prove it.
Saying, even if he did know,
how does that justify people saying that he's a bum and a liar and all that other stuff? Like,
let Maestro talk.
I'm just saying. I mean, we could go through the divisions. I mean, there's tons of fights that aren't taking place where people say that they're willing to fight other people. Most recently, Gervonta Davis with Vasyl Lomachenko. Most recently, with Errol Spence Jr. as it relates to Terrence Crawford. I mean, there's like, you go through the divisions, there's plenty of cases of fighters saying they want to fight, that they're doing things to get a fight, and then that fight not happening. I do think that Fury gets singled out a little bit.
I think all those guys.
Can I respond to that?
Let me respond to it real quick.
Okay.
I think all these fighters have their detractors, but I think Fury, because Fury talks so much and says a lot of things and doesn't always follow through with what he says, and because he contradicts himself a lot, just like Floyd used to do the same thing. Floyd would say a lot of contradicting things too.
Right.
Though the people that put themselves out there a lot and talk a lot, they are the ones that tend to get the sound bites.
Okay, but Joe, at the same time, one last point, Sly, and then I'll shut up. At the same time, I mean, you got Anthony Joshua saying that as long as he got a $50 million offer guaranteed, that he'd take the Wilder fight.
Roasted. He got roasted.
Excuse me, did that happen? No. But at the same time, to me, it's still not the level of vitriolic hate.
Well, yeah, I see what you're saying. I see you saying that the level of vitriol is different for Fury as opposed to the other fighters. I think that's what your point is. I mean, I can agree with that to some extent, but I think the reason why Fury is getting more flack is because this was dragging on for 1 year when the restrictions happened. They were talking about this fight since August of 2020. That's what they were talking about it. Yeah. And people were going out, the Fury camp was coming out saying, yeah, we're close to making it happen. And then the Joshua's camp was saying it. So everybody was like bought into it. They were all buying into the belief that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Wilder shouldn't get involved. Usyk shouldn't get involved. So that's why people are going at Fury, because as Beef says, he's been contradicting himself during the whole year, over the Joshua situation. And 1 minute he says, I'm going to fight the guy. Then he comes back and says, oh, I'm going to fight Wilder. Or, I'm going to fight Joshua, but we got some sticking points. It's just a lot of contradictions was happening over that year, man. That's probably why he's getting a lot more vitriol over it. And given the fact that he put out that announcement 24 hours before the arbitration ruling come in, that was like the last straw, the cake, icing on the cake, as you want to call it, the last straw with Fury. And I agree with you, man. I do not disagree with what you just said there, Maestro, but I'm just wanting to lay out the difference of, my opinion on why he's getting more vitriol opposed to the other fighters.
What happens is the guys that talk a lot and they're very outspoken, they tend to get criticized more than the quote unquote nice guys. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you saying, Maestro, but I think it's the character Fury plays. He kind of pokes the bear a lot with people. He talks a lot of smack and he tries to get under people's skins, fighters' skins and stuff. So he does kind of play the bad guy role a lot. And because of that, I think,
I've always liked that in boxing. In fact, some characters are one of the things that drew me to the sport,
It's what sells a fight.
I don't believe he's playing a character. I mean, anytime he'll come out and tell you that, I don't know what character.
I mean characters as in very over-the-top personalities.
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. But with Fury's case, he's not playing a character. He'll tell people, I don't know what I'm going to do next. That's just the truth. I don't know if I'm going to fight. I don't know if I'm going to retire. I don't know if I'm going to sit around and do what I do, whatever the case may be. He's not playing a character. He's being himself. He's unfocused.
I love the guy. But he's not everyone's cup of tea, man.
Well, I mean, if you say that, then you must absolutely hate Floyd Mayweather because he did the same fucking thing.
I'm not a Floyd Mayweather fan. You obviously have never heard me speak.
Nobody has.
Wow.
Jesus
Christ.
Here we go.
I understand that.
Wow.
Yeah, because this is the first time I'm seeing your name. I don't know
playing
who
characters.
Yeah, that was cold right there, Chad. That was cold, bro.
That was uncalled for.
Listen.
Troy
Graham is my real name. Troy Graham is my real name. I don't know what your real name is, but that's my real name.
It's Chandler. It's on my name tag, man. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to do. You want me to post my address? Fucking what do you want?
Troy, I listen to you.
Oh man,
listen to me.
Too, Troy.
Listen to me. This isn't a Troy Graham who's a Troy Graham fan.
Hey man, you must think so fucking highly of yourself to refer in the third person.
White. This is a Fury versus White panel. Every time I speak, I must be very important because someone has to cut me off after every third word for some reason. I don't know why. I've been quiet now for about 20 friggin' minutes. I didn't say nothing, right?
What a blessing that has been, by the way.
See? You know what I'm saying? Every third word is some joker cutting me off. You all are making me the centerpiece of this panel. I'm not doing it to myself because I called up here to talk about the fight. Thank you very much.
Well, Troy, when you tell people on this panel they don't know nothing about boxing, of course that's going to give you attention, man. So
no, I said it again. I'm gonna say something to you. I said if all you want to focus on is money, maybe you don't know how to break down a fight because you don't know anything about boxing. That is exactly what I said. That's exactly what I don't know who you are. First time I'm seeing your name.
Yeah, whatever. Are you talking to Chandler or you're talking to me? Because I've been talking to you quite often. I mean,
I am talking. Okay, the man, I know you, but I didn't know you had it down.
I remember Troy.
Hey, Troy, you're breaking up, man.
Yeah, he's breaking up. I can't hear him. I remember Troy getting.
Okay, how about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Much better.
Okay.
I was gonna say I remember Troy getting interviewed by Drew Titan. He handled Drew Titan pretty well.
There was no interview. It was no interview.
What I mean by that, he was interrogating you is what I mean, but you handled it fine. Like, you didn't let him fucking try to bully you. I'm giving you some praise right now. Don't be kidding.
Troy's a fighter, man.
On me.
Thank you.
I'll give him that.
I was gonna say I'm in your corner.
He's kind of.
Troy's legit, man. You can't. You can't.
Troy's legit, man. He knows his boxing history. He knows his shit. Yeah, he's getting a little spicy this morning.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I could respect that spirited debate that Troy has. I can respect that to some extent.
So how is this fight going to play out then? Because I'm going to be honest with you.
It's not.
If we're gonna speak on hypotheticals here. The big issue, in my opinion, is going to be Dillian Whyte's porous defense and lack of stamina.
Yes, conditioning, for sure.
Conditioning is going to play a major factor. Because you know what happens with Fury? Everyone's like, yeah, Dillian Whyte's going to be inside, ripping the body. Not Fury's going to grab him. Fury's going to grab him and lean on him and put his weight on him. And he's the shorter guy. So the taller guy is going to lean downward. So he's going to have to carry the weight coming down on him. It's not going to be the same as Wilder, where the weight's kind of the leverage is even. His weight is going to be coming down. It's going to have more leverage than it did in the Wilder fight, right?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
And he's going to have to carry that weight in the later rounds.
Yeah. Can I say something about that?
That's gonna hamper him even more than his already issues with stamina.
Yeah,
Fury's versatile too, man. He can shorten up shots on the inside, and he does have that sneaky uppercut himself, which Dillian Whyte gets caught with. And then on the outside, it's a wrap for
it's a wrap.
Cook, Dan. I want to hear what you think. Cook, Dan.
Yeah. I was going to say though to piggyback on Beeb's point, I think Dillian's conditioning is Wilder is known to have good condition. That's why I was a little pissed off that he came in at 238. But if you kind of use that factor in, I think Dillian, to your guys' point, Dillian's conditioning is going to be a problem. He's not known to have great condition in fights. He's slower on his feet too. You got to take that into account. Slower on his feet. His defense is pretty poor, and he's a lot shorter guy than Wilder. Let's take that into account. A lot shorter guy, a lot shorter.
And when he gets the jabbing, which he does reasonably well, like, and he sticks out a long jab, that's when he kind of overexerts himself and gets pretty tired. You know. The other thing too, I was, Maestro, he got knocked out in sparring. Look. We don't know when that happened. Was that the 400-pound version of Tyson Fury? Was it the 350? Was it the 300? Was it a guy who showed up into the gym and was it in shape? Like, people don't tend to understand. People enter sparring with different levels of fitness at different times of their camp. One guy might be at the part of the camp where they're peaking. Another guy might just show up to give them work. A lot of times I think people look a little bit too much into sparring stories.
Did that even happen?
Never go, yes.
Did
That's not real fighting. It's simulated.
I don't even know if that happened or not. I
don't know either. But I think also, too, it's kind of like it reminds me, people were saying this about the Golovkin and Canelo situation. Canelo was avoiding him because of the sparring stories that they have. Canelo don't want no part of them. We saw what happened in those two fights, or the second fight particularly. We saw what Canelo did to Golovkin. So, but the point is that sparring is totally different from a professional fight. There's many fighters that have gotten upper hand on other fighters in sparring in the past. But you have to take into account, at the time, those guys were working on techniques. That was not like a full-fledged on fight. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The mentality going into a sparring session is not the same mentality going into a fight. It's just
what I'm saying. Yeah, that's not. I should further.
Not to mention you got headgear on, like.
If Mayweather and Paulie Spadafore fought, I would have picked Mayweather.
There you go. There's an excellent point.
So, real quick too, I wanted to make
who is famous for not looking the greatest in various sparring sessions at the wild card, and he turns it up. Fight night.
Hey, let me get my point in on how I think the fight's going to go. So I think, honestly, it'll end, and this is a big if for Troy, if the fight happens. It lasts maybe 6-7 rounds. There's nothing special about Dillian Whyte. It's not like when Ruiz fought Joshua where the X factor was Ruiz's hand speed. Dillian Whyte doesn't have exceptional hand speed. His gas tank's terrible.
Defense is bad.
And I mean, back to Sly's point, maybe he's deserving of the title shot, but there's a lot of people that are deserving that don't have what it takes. I mean, somebody's always in good fights. Gabe Rosado, he's not going to be a good champion just because he doesn't have the skill set to be there. And I don't think the WBC would really push for this fight like that.
Yeah. Can I also add something too? I would be fair here. Now, we all agree that there's a possibility that Tyson Fury can get knocked out here too. Let me just say why. Because if you look back at the first and the third Wilder fights, especially the third Wilder fight, I believe Wilder hit this guy so hard, several times to the point that he put a dent in his armor. So there's a possibility that Tyson Fury's punch resistance may not be the same going into this fight, hypothetically, if it happens with Dillian Whyte. So if I'm Tyson Fury, I'd be very cautious and I'd be very defensively careful when it comes to Dillian Whyte. I'm not saying Dillian Whyte is that good. Look, I know there's a skill gap between the two, but what I'm saying is we all know in the heavyweight division, one punch can change everything. And I think Tyson Fury needs to be very worried that his punch resistance may not be the same after that third Wilder fight.
Dan, if it's the Tyson Fury that showed up in White, in Fury, Fury,
Wilder one.
Yeah, Wilder,
the second
Wilder
fight.
3. Then it's a problem for Fury. But if it's the Fury that showed up in Fury Wilder 2, I think we're going to see a one-sided fight.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
The thing about Fury Wilder 3, by all accounts, he had a terrible training camp.
Yeah.
He didn't want to back out of the fight, despite people thinking he's some kind of coward, which I've never really
get
understood
that shit at all.
He was sleeping on the floor in a hospital. This is not just confirmed by his team, but by news reporters in England, in a Liverpool hospital because a child was born premature with all kind of complications, and he was there for a week in the hospital. And this is during his camp. 3 weeks before the fight was essentially just running in Liverpool as his training. Yeah. So it wasn't the best Tyson Fury for sure. Whether he'll have any ill effects from the couple knockdowns in that fight, I don't know. But I think there's a big difference between the Fury that showed up in the second Wilder fight and the Fury that showed up in the third.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. But
Real
at the end of
quick,
the day, he did take some big shots in that third Wilder fight, which could hamper his punch resistance. That's all I'm saying.
he did.
So
I was going to say,
I acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Let's remember too that he's been training with Sugar Hill now for a little while, and because I remember someone saying something about his new style, and he can go back to that slick style. All he's got to do is cut a little bit of weight. I think that with Sugar though, he's really put a lot more confidence in his power, and he did come into that fight. I remember they even did an article on him in the Mirror, the London Mirror, saying that he was jogging around the hospital with his dad, and his dad was like yelling at him because he was outpacing him. And I think so. I think he's going to be in good shape for this fight, and I think Sugar will be able to put a pretty good game plan together. And let's remember too, when he was fighting Povetkin, Whyte was biting on every setup that Povetkin put out there. Like every setup he put out, he was biting on it. So I think Fury will be able to really. But this might also motivate Whyte to train harder than he's ever trained, you know? So I still think Fury's going to get him, though.
Okay, is everybody cool now? Can I step in? Or are we done talking about
go ahead.
all of Whyte's shorts and how Fury's just going to pull him and lean on him? Can I ask you, let me ask the panel a question. Out of the two of them, who do you think is the stronger one, Whyte or Fury? Who you know, who you think is a stronger man?
I think Fury.
I think Fury is.
Strength manifests itself. I mean, strength manifests itself in different ways.
In the weight room, in the weight room, Dillian Whyte's stronger. In a fight where people are wrestling and jockeying for position, I think Fury's stronger.
Yeah, because you said he's just going to lean on them and things like that. The last person he really leaned on was Steve Cunningham, and when he had a chance, he leaned on Wilder a lot. Wilder is not as strong as Whyte. Wilder's nowhere near has Whyte's strength.
350 pounds, man.
There's an echo somewhere.
Yeah. Wilder put on a shitload of muscle.
You don't bench press 350 pounds of flip flops. That was nonsense. Anyway, let me finish what I'm saying.
That is a boxing expertise right there.
Let me just say this. And as far as the body snatcher name is, because he works the body. It doesn't mean he knocks people out. He works the body, and he does that. And as far as him knocking out people and things, okay, hold on, please. Where's that echo coming from? Because I'm hearing myself.
It's you.
It can't be. I turned off. Let's see, I got everything turned off.
We're
not getting the echo here on my end. But to me, it's very interesting when people got to go all the way
but
back.
I wasn't finished though, brother.
That's 9 years ago, bro. Like he was in this.
I wasn't finished though. It wasn't 9 years ago. What are you talking? I'm not finished.
2013, fam. It was 2013. That's 9 years ago.
I just mentioned Povetkin. It wasn't 9 years ago.
No, I'm talking about Cunningham, which you brought up. You brought up Cunningham.
Cool. But that wasn't the last thing out my mouth. Let me finish. And as far as Fury knocking him out and all that, okay, before Whyte, Fury TKO'd 2 people in 6 years. I mean, before Wilder, Fury TKO'd 2 people that you probably never heard of in 6 years. He's not a knockout guy, man.
Since he turned up the gas with Sugar Hill Stewart, what's been the result?
No. That's against the same fighter. We haven't seen him against a different. Well, that's not true. That's not true. We've seen him against
knocked out Steve Cunningham.
Okay, listen. Okay, listen though. We've seen him against Otto Wallin.
Filibuster, man.
Right. Well, we've seen him. You know what? I can't get to speak because all of y'all coming at me. We actually seen him against Otto Wallin landing flush shots and didn't even move Otto Wallin, right? At all. He landed flush shots against him throughout that fight. Didn't move him at all.
And working on the inside.
He landed flush shots regardless. That has nothing to do with the flush shots that he was landing.
Dumbest fucking
that was also training. That was also under Ben Davison.
Record to be like, who the fuck are those?
You have 1,000 excuses, but you have not one reason.
I brought up Sugar Hill Stewart, and you brought up a fight with Ben Davison.
You know what? I can't even go back on mute because I'm all. I asked
about Sugar Hill Stewart, and you brought up a fight with Ben Davidson, where he was protecting the eye.
No, I did not bring up a fight with no Ben Davidson.
No, I don't
No,
want
I
to
did not bring up a fight with Ben Davidson. What are you talking about?
You're talking
I did not bring up
Troy, but you're not listening to
Of course you
anybody,
did.
man.
Otto Wallin was a fight under Bet Davidson. What are you talking
I'm
about?
speaking. Why? I'm speaking. Why do I need to listen to people? I'm the one that's speaking.
Because
What the hell are you talking about? I'm the one that's speaking.
You're not listening.
No. You are a dumb shit. I'm the one that's speaking over here, man. And cut out the name calling and all that. We all grown men over here. You understand what I'm saying?
No one called
Every time I jump on here,
no one called you a dumb shit, so please don't call me a
he
dumb
just
shit.
stepped in and said.
No one called you a
He
dumb
just
shit.
stepped in and said, "I'm talking dumb shit." He just. Are you hard of hearing? He just said, "I'm talking dumb shit," and I replied that you are a dumb shit.
Guys?
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Look at all the guys.
Maestro, I don't know what you listening to, Maestro. I have good ears, Maestro. The man said you talking dumb shit, and I replied that you are a dumb shit. That's all.
Troy.
But Steve, yes. I don't know why I can't speak on the panel.
No one breathe. Troy's talking.
All right, I'm not gonna breathe.
Don't breathe.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone, guys.
Oh my gosh.
Man, ran Troy off.
I don't know about that, man. He'll probably come back.
First of all, Dillian Whyte's got a lower KO percentage than Tyson Fury does. He's got 19 knockouts in 30 fights. Okay. Look at the guys that Dillian Whyte went the distance with: Oscar Rivas, Marius Wack, friggin' Hellenius. Like this whole thing that Whyte is this murderer with power. Tyson Fury got a higher knockout percentage.
32 fights and 22 KOs.
Beeb, what I'm saying is you can't say that about people, because if you take any quality fighter and look at their record, their first 19, 20 fights are against nobodies. So the point that dude was trying to make is so invalid.
Oscar Rivas, Maurice Wack, friggin' Joseph Parker, Robert Hellenius, friggin' Derek Chisora, all these guys.
He did not look good in any of these fights, by the way.
He didn't look good. Yeah, exactly.
Tyson Fury got more knockouts than Dillian Whyte.
Right, he has 22 knockouts. He has 22
knockouts.
It's
also fair to say too that
Tyson
Fury has more
convincing wins in
high-profile fights than Dillian Whyte.
Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury got more knockouts than Dillian Whyte.
Well, yeah, I was
He also doesn't look average against top-tier competition.
Okay, listen. He only has 2 high-profile wins. 2. He has 2 high-profile.
Wait, Troy,
he's got more than that.
How many high-profile wins does Dillian Whyte have?
Chisora is a solid win.
Well, can I say something real quickly? Tyson Fury.
Klitschko.
Yeah. Can I say something, B?
Wilder twice.
Yeah. Tyson Fury has looked more impressive and emphatic in his high-profile wins and high-profile fights to Dillian Whyte. That's a fact. He has.
Yeah.
He has. So you have to take that into account. So, and another thing too, you have to take into account. We say that Dillian Whyte's a good body puncher. I get that, but will Tyson Fury allow that? Because Dillian doesn't have the reach. He's gonna have to work very hard to get inside that body, very hard. Because
who would contest that? Yeah, who would possibly contest that?
Yeah,
I don't understand that. Even if you're a Dillian Whyte fan to the 10th power, like how could you say that he's looked better than Fury has against the best in the ring? Come on, man.
I mean, where was the body attack against Marius Wack? Where's the body attack against Oscar Rivas? Where was the body? I mean, I'm just not seeing it. I didn't even really see that damage in the body attack, to be honest, against Povetkin. I mean, it was mostly headshots.
I mean, where's even one high-profile fight?
That wasn't a loss, because he did fight Anthony Joshua before Joshua was a title holder and lost.
Both prospects.
Right, when they're both prospects. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, you should call that a high-profile fight, though.
Since then, I mean, his biggest win is a post-COVID, over the hill, no disrespect, but way past his prime, 41-year-old Alexander Povetkin coming off a brutal KO loss.
True.
Right.
Am I right or am I wrong? I mean, is that not his biggest win?
Yeah,
let Ralph get in, because he's part of the Dillian Whyte defense team.
Yeah, Hey, what up, Rafi?
What's up, Ralph?
Rafi, you want to unmute yourself, man?
Smoke.
There he is.
Yeah, what's happening, gentlemen? I see you having a very nice civil discussion over there.
We won. It was trying.
I see, gentlemen, the conduct is the order of the day. I see Maestro, he doesn't want to puff pass.
Let me show you guys something real quick.
Shit.
Oh, you can't really see it. I was gonna put my camera over by the window. It's nothing but snow over here, bro. So I'm just inside.
Oh yeah,
chilling.
I see it, man.
Oh
We're in New York.
shit, you're in that big ass New York snowstorm they're talking about. Huh?
Oh yeah,
We got it over here too in
Be
Boston.
safe out
Man.
there, Maestro, man. I heard about that storm, man. So be
You're in
careful.
the eye of the storm, Maestro. You're in the eye of the storm right about now. Hey, so let me come to ask some questions to you cats because you're all very knowledgeable, and I just want to share. I just want to share in some of your wisdom. Puff, pass. Okay. Now, who has the better resume overall out of Fury and Whyte?
Oh, come on.
We
got Wilder twice. We got Wilder twice, right? We got Chisora twice, and then before. I don't even need to name the last one. There's a lot of static on the line there.
That's Troy. Troy's got to mute himself. Yeah.
The last one is obviously the big boy win, which was Klitschko in what was it, Dusseldorf in Germany.
Yeah.
That fight on its
The
own.
ugliest fight ever.
No matter, it was a win.
No
matter, it was a win. And by the way, it was more impressive to me than AJ rematching Ruiz the way he did. No one expected Fury to win.
You're a Fury fan.
Fury. No one expected Fury to win that fight outside of Team Fury.
And not only that, Fury
winning
was
that fight
going
in.
against it too. The odds were against him in that fight. Hey, babe, you're on mute, man. You're on mute.
Let Ralph go.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rafi.
Okay. Yeah, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty over here. My headphones have stopped working, so I'm just talking without the headphones. I hope it's okay. So is there an argument to say that Whyte overall has if you take out the top guy from each guy, so you take out Joshua from Whyte and you take out.
It's a loss though, bro. That was a loss. We can't even count that one. So you got to take off the next biggest one.
Count, like to me,
No. We're not talking about wins and losses. We're talking about who people fought. So you take.
Hey, you know what, Rafi? I know we had this discussion before.
Can I just ask a question? Can I just ask a question?
Let him go, Dan.
Okay.
Ask a question. Take out the top guy, just like I said before. Take out the top guy of each guy and look at the body of work. So take off Joshua, take off Klitschko, and is it not a relatively close? Is it not relatively close?
How can you take off the man's best win and then take off a loss from the other guy? Like, I don't understand that methodology.
Can we look at their resumes, damn it?
To be fair to Ralph, an argument can be made that Dillian Whyte's got a comparable resume. I think Fury's wins. I look at it different.
I agree with that. Go ahead.
I look at it different. If your best wins are better, like if a guy has a lot of solid wins, but you have 2 great wins, I think the 2 great wins can kind of trump a lot of solid wins.
Wilder's a great fighder now. Wilder's considered a great fighter.
Wilder's probably going to the Hall of Fame because of the amount of defenses he made.
No, he's not.
Let's look at Muhammad Ali's career. And
hold on. Just come on. Let me talk. Let's
remove the thriller in Manila.
Let's remove George Foreman.
Just come on. Let me talk.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
All right. Now, if you really want to get into it, the Klitschko fight should have been a no contest.
No. Don't do that, Rafi. Don't do that.
Hold on. He should not have been in the ring with Klitschko.
I'm putting down this. I want some of what Rafi's smoking. Send me a pack.
You got the ooey over there. In the snow. You're locked in the snow. Smoking the ooey over there.
Let him go.
When you guys stop talking and want to listen to some sense, let me know. You can. The British Boxing Board of Control said that what's that guy's name we fought? The Hammer fight should be ruled a no contest.
I agree.
I haven't heard anybody bring up the Hammer fight as one of his best wins.
Fury should have been suspended during the Klitschko fight period for at least a year, if not 2. He fought Klitschko 6 months later. I repeat and reiterate, there is a very strong argument to say that Fury versus Klitschko should be ruled a no contest. Because he was not punished. Because he was not punished.
Like one of those English
he was not punished for a drug violation.
Let him go. Let him go.
He was not punished for the drug violation. Puff, puff, pass. Over to you.
Let me ask Ralph a question. Let me ask Ralph a question real quick.
Go ahead, B.
Let me ask you a question, Ralph. Who's the better fighter, Tyson Fury or Dillian Whyte? Who's the more skilled, better fighter?
I believe Tyson Fury is the better, more.
That's opinion.
I believe Tyson Fury is the better, more skilled fighter.
Okay.
Yeah, can I respond to?
So does the resume matter? When,
well, the reason
they only have to be that better than the guy on the night. So whatever they did in the past, they can only bring into the ring what they have on the night, is what I'm trying to say.
The only reason I bring up resume is to possibly suggest to you, gentlemen, that the skill disparity may not be as great as one might imagine prior to the fight.
Fair argument.
Yeah, can I respond to that real quickly, B?
Go ahead.
Look, first, Rafi, you're my boy. I like you, but you can't take away guys' accomplishments off the resume just to devalue another guy. You can't do that. Number one.
That's not what I did.
Yes, you did.
That's not what I did.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
That's not what I did. That's not what I did, Dan.
Yes, you did. You just said
that. No contest.
And then Ralphie, you tried to do the job as some sort of moral victory. We're just judging his wins,
Yeah, well, here's
and
the thing.
And admittedly, he's Pavekis' best win. That's what we're saying.
Well, yeah, but can I say something? Let me just respond to Rafi. Let me respond to him, young Bill. Let me respond to you, then you can go after me. But let me just say this. That's number one. So I agree with Maestro on that front. Number two, if you're going to use Tyson Fury's drug testing issue as, a scandal, as an issue to disqualify him in a way, you should do the same to Dillian Whyte, because he got popped for a banned substance years ago, didn't he not?
He got popped for Jack 3D, something which everyone who lifts weights has used.
Banned substance.
And he got banned for 2 years.
Yeah,
for over-the-counter supplement. 2 years.
But
now compare
against Fury, you should comply.
Let us compare and contrast that. Let us compare and
supplement that's on the UCAD list. An over-the-counter substance that's on the WADA list.
Dillian Whyte got banned for 2 years.
Substance, right?
For an over-the-counter supplement that people
that are on banned lists.
What about the gloves?
For 2 years. Let me say, for 2 years. Now, Fury.
What about the glove scandal?
No, Fury gets popped for Nandro, which is a steroid, and then 6 months later, without punishment, he's fighting Klitschko for the world championship. That ain't right in nobody's language. That cannot be right. It's a no contest.
Hold on, Rafi. But the point I'm trying to get you to understand is that you're applying one standard to one fighter. You got to do the same for Dillian Whyte. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. It's the same situation.
What's the standard? What am I doing?
You're trying to disqualify Fury's win over Klitschko because he got popped for something, which is not true, because he got popped for the Hammer fight, not for the Klitschko fight. That's number one.
Hold on. He got popped for the Hammer fight, and he should have been suspended, so he was not eligible to be fighting Klitschko. Klitschko fight was 6 months later. He was not punished.
Here's the problem, Ralph.
Let me ask you a question.
Here's the problem, Ralph. I'm sorry, Maestro. Here's the problem, Ralph. You can't rewrite history.
No, excuse me, but you can.
No,
that can be
no, you can't.
It already happened.
You really can't. You really can't. Christopher Columbus.
That was 6 years ago, Ben. Get over it.
Okay, so number one, Rafi, let me ask you something. Rafi, where did the Klitschko Fury fight take place?
Klitschko Fury took place in Dusseldorf, Germany.
Thank you. Who was controlling the promotion?
I don't know. Who was that?
Klitschko was.
Okay.
That's who. All right. So was it in the Klitschko promotional interest to allow Tyson Fury to fight as a drug user, as an active user of illicit banned substances?
All I can tell you is
why would they allow the fight to take place? Like why wasn't he tested?
All I can tell you,
why wasn't he tested and disqualified?
All I can tell you is what Klitschko said. And what Klitschko said is, if we had known that he had popped dirty and tested for steroids a few months earlier, we would not have fought him.
So the Germans weren't testing. The Germans weren't testing.
Does UCAD have jurisdiction in Germany?
UCAD did not inform. UCAD kept it a secret. UCAD did not inform the Klitschkos that Fury had popped dirty for steroids.
Yeah, but do they even have jurisdiction in Germany?
UCAD did not inform Klitschko. UCAD releases the results of these things pretty quickly. Look how quickly they did it. Excuse me, I'm not done. I'm not done.
In this case, they kept it locked up.
I'm going to make this point. Maestro's cooking right now.
El
negrito está cocinando. Espérate.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
It means the black man's cooking. Just wait a second. So,
all right, let's go.
What I'm telling you is this. Look how quickly UCAD released the stuff with Dillian Whyte before the Rivas fight. It's not like they sit on this and hold it and don't release it. It's an agency with a public mandate that releases this information to the public. I also follow athletics very closely. I also follow athletics very closely.
That was leaked by somebody else. UCAD did not. UCAD did not release that. That was leaked by someone else.
You could get sued. You could get sued. You're defaming UCAD right now. You're making some pretty strong allegations. You better have a good lawyer on deck.
So the Germans were in on the scandal. UCAD was in on the scandal. And
the Germans did not know.
And the Klitschkos were just deaf and blind, right?
The Germans did. Well, Klitschko did not know. According to him, he said, if we had known that Tyson Fury had tested positive for steroids a few months earlier, we would not have fought him.
This crazy coming from brothers that were accused for ages for drug use as well, but okay.
They admitted, both Klitschko brothers admitted to steroid use. Admitted.
Did they?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. They admitted to steroid use. Yes, it's on the internet. It's on the internet.
So how does that tie into this? What's going on?
I mean, it's literally the kettle calling the pot black.
Yeah,
is what it is.
It's called hypocrisy. Fight Doctor says made a great point. Was there drug testing in place leading up to the Klitschko Fury fight?
I think there was.
Fight Doctor never makes great points.
I don't think there wasn't.
No,
and I don't think it doesn't matter.
We don't know.
I would say that
we don't know.
With Klitschko fights, he usually gets tested right after the fight, so that's kind of like, a red flag to me. That's kind of suspect.
There's post-fight drug testing after every fight.
Yeah, there is.
And there's post and pre-fight testing before and after every fight.
Right, there is.
So he was clean for the Klitschko fight. So what difference does it make?
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Who was clean for the Klitschko fight?
Fury, the first one. He was clean for that.
Well, hold on. So he tested dirty 6 months earlier in one fight, and then he say he's clean for the next fight. I mean, come on, bro. You should have been.
Billy wasn't clean for the Rivas fight, was he? Billy wasn't clean for the Rivas fight, was he?
Fury should have been serving his suspension direct before.
If that's the case, well, hey, if that's the case, then Dillian Whyte should have served his suspension for the Rivas fight.
So what you're saying is
Dillian Whyte was clean for the
No, he
Rivas fight.
was not clean for that fight, man. Come on.
He was clean. I said that was the first time they checked out the damn thing, and it was clean. It was clean.
So is your stance that Fury beat Klitschko because he was on steroids 6 months ago?
My stance is that Fury should have been serving his suspension.
But he wasn't when the fight happened.
At the time he was in the ring with Klitschko, he should have been serving a suspension.
But he wasn't.
He should have been. He should have been.
Listen, I should have won the spelling bee contest 55 years ago, but I lost to this friggin' kid who friggin' cheated. I can't cry now.
I'm sorry to hear that, babe. I hope you know.
I can't cry about that now.
Heal up, brother. Puff, puff, pass.
I would have won the lottery if the guy in front of me didn't buy the ticket before me.
Yeah,
you're gonna cry over spilt. You can't cry over spilt milk. I mean,
hey, nobody's crying. We're just saying right is right. Right is right. We need to just amend the record books.
You're looking for justice.
NC next to that.
Do you know the history of the sport of boxing?
Who?
You're looking for justice here. You're looking for the sanctioning bodies and these drug testing agents. What about Oscar Valdez, who tested positive for phentermine that was on the banned substance list, and he was allowed to fight? I mean, what about Eric Morales? I mean, again, this is the sport.
And he shouldn't have. You argued that you know that I was saying what's his name should have been suspended. Valdez. You know that.
I believe that. I believe that according to the rules, he should have been suspended.
We talked about it. I'm consistent.
I agree.
I'm consistent.
But again, we can't take that win off his record because the fight.
Yes, you can.
You can.
Yes,
you cannot do that. You cannot do
that. Not off the records. Maybe
look at the record. But look at the Olympics. What's happening with the Olympics? Joyce may get his silver medal upgraded to a gold medal because there was corruption involved.
Look,
yes,
I saw.
Name me a situation where a guy where something was changed.
I'll name
the
one.
Fight took place.
No. I can't name one, but I wanted it, but it was never going to happen. Like for instance, Margarito versus Cotto, right? He was found to be having plaster in his, in his hand wraps, right?
No,
he wasn't.
He was found to have used gauze in his hand wraps at the end of the California State.
But there was some tampering. But
it wasn't plaster.
That wasn't in the Cotto fight. That wasn't in the Cotto fight.
That was the one afterwards, right?
That was in the Mosley fight.
Yeah, that was in the Mosley fight.
That was the wrong fight.
But he was accused of having having tampering with his hand wraps. But and I thought that should have been ruled like a no contest. But did they rule it a no contest? No, it remains a victory.
Why would they rule it a no contest when Shane Mosley knocked his ass out though?
That was prior to but we're talking about prior to the Mosley knockout.
But there was no evidence of it prior to the Mosley knockout.
Exactly.
They found used gauze. They found used gauze, Virtuoso, after the Mosley knockout. There was no evidence of it before that.
Yeah, but that was the accusation of him. Because
so then we got to wipe out his whole career, every fight.
No, not wipe out his whole career, but wipe out that victory. Even as a fan, you cannot demand that.
Cotto then? Why not his whole career?
Yeah, here's the bottom line.
You can't. There's no evidence.
You can't do it for Cotto either because there's no evidence for Cotto.
That's my point. That's my point.
Here's the bottom line.
There's no evidence of it.
Let me jump in. Here's the bottom line. If Tyson Fury did not test positive before or after the Klitschko fight, then there's no reason to take that off his record.
Right.
And if the fight happened,
that's not the bottom line.
And you cut that is the bottom line.
That's not the bottom line.
Let me ask you this: what are the chances of that fight coming off his record?
It should ruled as a no contest, and we must support that which is right. We must support that which is right. We cannot support all
virtue.
That's called virtue. Are we going to change Evander Holyfield's wins to no contest, Rafi? You up for that?
On what basis? On what basis?
Are you up for changing Evander Holyfield's wins? No, it's a question.
Yeah, I'm asking you a question.
I'm not done yet. I'm not done. I'm going to ask you the question and you can answer. Are you up for changing Evander Holyfield's wins to no contest?
On what basis?
He had HGH delivered to his house and he was caught.
Did he test positive prior to a fight or after a fight?
There you go.
Exactly. Boom.
But neither did
There
Fury.
you go.
Neither did Fury.
There you
Neither
go.
did Fury.
Well,
Neither did
there you
Fury.
go.
Neither
There
did
you
Fury.
go.
Fury.
Well, there you go.
And what does this have to do with the Dillian White
This is
fight?
the point that I
Rafi?
try to
That's
make
what I
here.
wanna
Then you
know.
might as well just eliminate
let me
all
explain.
Young Billy. You know what this is called? This
Yeah.
is called the classic Raphael Dawkins deflection.
Yeah, I'm wondering what this has to do with this fight coming in April.
I ain't
It's
deflecting
a
from nothing, baby. I
deflection.
ain't got no
It's a
tinfoil around
deflection.
me.
Who's gonna win this fight, Raphael? Man, break it down for me because
Dillian Whyte wins the fight and he moves on to become undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
How does he win?
Who's gonna win the fight? Fury is the favorite. Tyson
Dillian
Fury is the favorite to win against Dillian Whyte. But you know what? Unlike a lot of you cats up there, yeah. Unlike a lot of you cats up there who don't give Dillian Whyte no chance, puff pass maestro. I do.
None.
I do.
I give him a
Maestro, how come you don't give him a chance? Why don't you break that down? Why don't you break that down, Maestro? Go ahead, break it down.
Let me finish what I'm saying first.
I'm not saying that.
Let me finish what I'm saying first, though, because I hadn't finished.
You just said none.
People need to finish, so let me finish. So, unlike a lot of you cats who are giving Dillian Whyte no chance, I say watch out for the Tyson Fury's broken jaw caused by the left hook of Dillian Whyte. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. Let me finish. All right.
That's so funny, bro. Y'all funny.
Yeah, man.
Go on with it. Puff pass. Your turn.
So first of all, I never said that he has no chance. He's got a chance. I mean, he's a heavyweight. He weighs like 250 pounds. He can smack. Obviously, he has a chance. But I think Fury's the heavy favorite going into this fight, and I'll explain why. I don't think he looked very good in his wins that everyone's saying are all of these tough fights that he took. Rivas, I don't think he looked very good. Marius Wack, I don't think he looked very good. I don't think he looked very good against Joseph Parker. I don't think he looked very good against Derek Chisora in the rematch. In fact, even the judges had him losing. The fact is that referee got involved, started deducting points, and it got Chisora off his game plan. I don't think he looked very good, honestly. I mean, how could he when he got knocked out by Alexander Povetkin? Since the AJ loss, which, by the way, was by brutal knockout, his biggest win is against the 41-year-old post-COVID Alexander Povetkin.
You're also leaking out a lot of things since that fight. He went on an 11-fight win streak since that fight.
Against who?
There was, thank you. There was Povetkin. There was Rivas. Lucas Brown was an undefeated champion. Lucas Brown. There was Parker. You asked me a question, and then you will not allow me to speak. What is the point of you asking me?
I didn't even mention Lucas Brown because I'm not even rating that. Number one. That name didn't come out of my mouth because it's not even worth talking about.
He was an undefeated champion when he fought White. Undefeated champion.
Then he gets awarded a knockdown in the Parker fight when he headbutted him, and it wasn't even a punch.
Yeah, okay, that was a headbutt, but he was the first man to drop Parker cleanly. He was the first man. It was two knockdowns. One of them was clean, and one of them was a headbutt. Yes.
If you took the headbutt away, he would have lost the Parker fight.
Both men took the fight on short notice. White won. That's all that's important. He beat Rivas, who was undefeated. He beat, again, I'm going to say, he knocked out. No, you don't take no damn headbutt away. No, you don't. He was
Ralph's talking about doing what's right, so why don't we take that away because he got
headbutt wasn't right.
His biggest win since getting knocked out by AJ is a 41-year-old Alexander Povetkin in a rematch of a brutal KO loss.
That's to you. That's not fact. That's not fact. His biggest win would be Parker. There's a fact. Parker was an undefeated. Parker at the time only was a champion, a one-time beat champion, lost champion, I should say, who lost to Joshua, and then he fought him. So no, that's in your opinion, but that's not fact though. And he's the only man. He's the only man to knock Derek Chisora unconscious. Nobody else has ever done that ever.
What? Okay,
Nobody.
so
Nobody. David Haye did not knock him unconscious. He did not knock him unconscious. He did not knock him unconscious. He stopped him, but he was not unconscious. He stopped him. He was not unconscious. Stop it. He was not unconscious. He was not unconscious. Was he unconscious? Was he unconscious? Was he unconscious? What? Answer the question. Was he unconscious?
What difference does that make?
Because of what I said, word for word, he was the first man to knock Derek Chisora unconscious. Okay, thank you. No, I said unconscious. Unconscious. Says unconscious. He was still awake in the ring when Haye stopped him. He was wide awake. Okay, thank you. He was not unconscious. You can't take away the man's no.
Knocked out by Haye. What are you talking about, man?
Listen, nobody else has knocked him unconscious. Nobody. Okay.
Oh man,
you all can try to wipe away his success because you love Fury, but you can't tell me you can't tell me what's so great about Fury, because what you're doing is this. Hold on, man. What you're doing is this: is you giving him credit for two fighters. Klitschko, you're saying Klitschko's a great fighter, okay, and then you're now saying that White's a great fighter because Fury beat him. Two fighters. That's the only thing on his resume that you give him credit for. What else can you give him credit for? Nothing. Nothing.
Against Derek Chisora. I love it how.
Yes, Derek Chisora, the same Derek Chisora that White knocked unconscious. That White knocked unconscious. Okay.
I love it how you say Klitschko.
I said you people. I said you people. Yeah.
People say Klitschko's a great fighter. Like he's not a fucking great fighter. Like he's not a fucking great fighter.
Wilder's a great fighter now?
So what?
Wilder's a great fighter?
Klitschko's not a great fighter?
No, answer my question. Wilder's a great fighter now. Wilder is a great fighter now.
When did Wilder become a great fighter?
Look, all of y'all keep talking at once, man. Is Wilder a great fighter now?
It's ridiculous, man.
That's because you're making Fury great off of his Wilder win. So Wilder is a great fighter now. Yes or no?
Wilder is a great fighter.
He's a great fighter since when?
Let me finish. Wilder is a great fighter for this era because he was in the top three.
Okay.
He was a great fighter. He's a great fighter.
Greatness is earned. He didn't beat anybody to be considered great. Greatness is earned.
He had 10 title defenses.
So did Ali. So did Lewis. So did Holmes. So did Tyson.
All great fighters. Like you're
right. So he didn't do anything special if four men did it before him. If it's four guys before him. Okay, wait a second now. We saying being number 5 makes you great?
You can only judge a guy.
Being number 5 makes you great, Maestro?
No, I'm saying Klitschko.
Okay, you ain't saying that.
Klitschko's a great fighter. You can say he's not, but I don't care.
I didn't say he wasn't. What I'm saying is that you're basing Fury's entire career on Wilder's wins and against Klitschko because there's nothing else to base it on. What else is there to base it on?
We got a fight right now with Wilder. We got a fight with Dillian Whyte coming up.
You people say Klitschko's a great fighter. Yeah, I'm one of the.
I didn't say you people say Klitschko was a great fighter. I said word for word that you people said Wilder was a great fighter. Thank you for lying right there. I did not say that. I said you people said Wilder's a great fighter now. See, you don't have anything to base Fury's greatness on besides two wins. That is it.
What about the Cunningham?
2 wins.
Was it Cunningham? Not
Hell no. That was he got knocked down by former cruiserweight champion, and then he leaned on him like a lazy bastard, and that's how he won the fight. He leaned on him and won the fight.
Wait, hold on for 1 second. What does that have to do with when these two guys, Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury, fight? They're going to be
absolutely nothing. You're absolutely correct. Has absolutely nothing. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm simply listen, okay, this is why I stay quiet for so damn blasted long. I'm simply saying this. To say that White has no shot whatsoever is a stupid, which is why when I started the conversation, I said, y'all don't know boxing. If you people could utter foolishness like that, I have the right to say that you don't know boxing. Because I can actually break down the fight for you if you like. I can break it down because I have a boxing mind. But none of you up here have broken down the fight. You talked about White is going to get blown out. White is going to get this. White is going. None of you actually gave a fair assessment of the fight.
I have not heard anyone on this panel say that White has no chance against.
Somebody, when I was speaking, somebody said White has no chance. I am not creating look. I'm not creating a blasted thing. While I was speaking, someone said, Beam said, are you giving White a chance? And somebody said none at all.
Who
and this whole, I don't know. I actually thought it was you.
No, it wasn't me.
I actually thought it was you. It wasn't you. It wasn't you.
But Troy, hold on.
Creating a straw man argument, and
that was me 100%. No shot.
Hold on. Let me get in.
Ain't nobody on this panel rich, baby.
Hold on. If someone said that, that's their opinion. What's the big deal?
Just like this is my opinion, what's the big deal?
Yeah, but your opinion is also you're a boxing expert.
Again, my opinion. What's the big deal?
There's nothing wrong with your opinion, Troy. I don't have a problem with your opinion.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
His opinion should be put in context. And I think the proper context of his opinion should be put
Your head should be put in the toilet and flushed down. And shut up.
What the hell? Yeah, okay. So like I said, his opinion should be put in this context.
And your opinion doesn't matter. Shut up.
Let him go, Troy. Let him go,
Troy Graham is living proof that flaming hot house Negroes are a thing in 2022.
And this dude is proof that he just repeats himself on every panel and says the same thing. Move out your mama basement and grow up.
And let me
why are you so sensitive?
And let me reiterate.
I'm not sensitive. Is that this worthless bastard comes on every panel and says Cal calls me a house nigga on every single panel? Okay.
Well, where there's smoke,
let him burn for 5 minutes. Troy.
Maybe you should do some self-reflecting and consider that maybe I'm actually speaking the truth.
All right.
Let me remind you. Mr.
Maybe you should get on your knees in front. Okay.
Let me remind you, Mr. House Negro, and let me repeat, I'm not.
Maybe you should get off your knees.
I'm not down with the alternative lifestyle. Okay, that might be good for you, sir.
You on your knees right now, and you ain't praying, baby.
I'm heterosexual. All right, I just want to remind you of that fact.
Fight doctor, get to the fight.
I have nothing against alternative lifestyle people.
All right,
love who you want.
Fight doctor.
Just not me, Negro.
Get to the fight doctor. Give us your opinion on the fight.
Now, Mr. Dawkins, I don't know where he went, but
he dropped.
Yeah. So, Mr. Dawkins, please come back because we need to pick up this conversation. Listen, what I think is happening with Mr. Dawkins and people who are like-minded is that the Anthony Joshua cheerleading contingent is in a state of disarray right now. Okay, because of what has happened recently. His last fight and the performance that he put up in that last fight, especially what happened in the 12th round. So I think what they have had to do is detach themselves from Mr. Joshua and find someone else to cheerlead for. And I guess right now, Dillian Whyte is who they're going to cheerlead for right now. That's my assessment of what's going on. Now, that's not to say that I don't think Dillian Whyte has a legitimate shot to win the fight. He does. However, he was recently one punch knocked out by a 40-year-old heavyweight, which means, one, he knows how to lose. It's not the first time he's been knocked out. And second thing is that it's just not a good look when you get one punch knocked out by a 40-year-old heavyweight.
A 40-year-old heavyweight fight doctor that struggled against Huey Fury and against a Michael Hunter.
Yeah, and in a fight where he was losing every round. I mean, the fight wasn't even close. Okay, I saw it as a wash. And then you get one punch knocked out by a guy 40 who looked slow, who looked old. So I think Tyson Fury rightfully is the favorite in this fight. And that's taking nothing away from Dillian Whyte, who is a good fighter and who definitely has a chance. But yeah, I don't see how you can make him favorite in this fight. Okay. House Negroes notwithstanding. And I'm
Your mama.
Let D stop boxing get in. He just jumped on. I can't hear you, D. I don't know if you.
Yeah, what up, D Style?
Are you on?
Thank you, D Styles. Please come in and clear the airwaves of all that shit that was just spread in it.
Yo, you need the help. So
yeah, you do.
I mean,
I'm giving Dillian Whyte. I'm giving Dillian Whyte a 20% chance to win this fight.
That's fair.
I'm giving Dillian Whyte the undisputed heavyweight championship. Go ahead.
Well,
okay, that's nice.
enough.
But
Mr.
I'm
House
giving him.
Negro, do you have some money on that?
Oh boy.
I got $100 on Fury. Where you at?
I don't want no money. You know, I want your house. I want your house and I want you for a year. I want you to be my indentured servant for a whole year. I want your house and I want you to be my indentured servant for a whole year. I want you to be my indentured servant for a whole year. That's the bet. I want your home and I want you to be an indentured servant for a whole year. Clean my toe cheese, sucker. Clean it.
I am homosexual. So I'm sorry to disappoint.
Take the bet. Take the bet and stop being a punk fight doctor. I want your home and I want you to come in and serve me from head to foot. Okay? That's right. Take the bet or shut up. Put up or shut up, punk. Put up or shut up.
Wait, Troy, he bet you $500. What's the problem?
Ain't nobody betting 500. I said I want his home and I want him to be my servant for a year.
It sounds more like you don't have the money to bet.
I'm placing. It sounds like you. It sounds like you don't have a house. That's what it sounds like. Because obviously, I got a house to put up if I lose.
All right. Enough with the dozens. Enough with the dozens. Let's get back to the fight.
Right. So it sounded to me like you really need to take this opportunity.
Sounds like you need to.
You don't have because it sounded to me like you don't have.
Are you going to take the bet? Are you going to take the bet, or you just going to keep being a coward?
Guys.
Dan the man said $500, and I'm down with that. So I got 500 on Fury. Now
I want your home, and I want you to serve me for a year. Okay.
See me or STFU, Mr. House Negro, Mr. Flaming Hot House Negro.
I want your home, and I want you to serve me for a year. That's the
not
bet.
down with the heterosexual. I'm heterosexual.
Move on.
I'm heterosexual.
Bet in their homes on a fucking fight.
No. I'm not. I knew he wouldn't take the fight because he likes the balls. He talks a lot, but he likes the balls.
Well, you just bet you $500. So why are you?
My house is worth more than $500. I don't want his money. I want to break his back and his spirit. That's what the hell I want to do. You don't understand?
I'm not down with the Brokeback Mountain deal, bro, dude. I keep trying to explain to you. I'm heterosexual. Maybe you need to look that term up. So
you were down with boogerism. You like animals.
Right. Okay. Like I said, dude.
I
got 500 on Tyson Fury. All right. Let's see if
let's get that.
Wilder, Fury White. I'm sorry, y'all. Let's just get back on Fury White. I apologize. Fury White.
Let these start get in real quick.
So look, nobody wants to see Tyson Fury get knocked out. More than me.
That's not true.
Oh well, believe me. But here's the thing, all right. But Dillian Whyte's not that dude. Okay, if you want, if you,
speak, man. Let him speak.
I'm sorry.
If you want to make Dillian Whyte that dude, that's on you. You know what I mean? If you think Dillian Whyte's that guy, like look, I'll give you all the credit in the world if he wins that fight. Okay. But I'm going to be honest with you. I think he's going to get utterly destroyed. And I think you know that. I think deep down, you know. Everybody, it's like that thing that everybody knows. And I believe that you're hoping this fight doesn't happen. You're hoping that Tyson Fury, maybe retires or something erratic, or the fight doesn't happen, or they don't come to an agreement. So you could then say, "Oh, see, he doesn't want to fight White. I told you, fight doctor wouldn't put his house on the line and all this other stuff, right?" All I'm saying is that deep down, you know. Because let me tell you something. Let me just ask you one question, okay? What is Dillian Whyte's best win, in your opinion?
He said earlier that it was the very disputed victory over Joseph Parker. So I'll answer that for him because that's what he said.
Okay,
no,
so
I said that was his biggest win.
Okay,
his
so
best win, let me answer for myself because my name is not Maestro. It's Troy Graham.
I was trying to help
His
you out.
best win. Yeah, I don't need your help. I didn't ask you.
That's right.
His-
Let him answer. Let him answer. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
You
ahead.
needed these styles help, and it's not going too well for you.
Let him answer. Let him answer.
I've been standing alone for 50 years.
It's all right.
I don't need a stranger's help. I don't need a stranger's help for anything.
Let him answer.
His best win, based on who he did it against and how it looked, was against Derek Chisora by knocking him unconscious. That was his best win.
All right, cool.
His biggest win was the Parker fight. Thank you.
All right, I got you. Okay. All right. So, I mean, didn't you see the last fight that Chisora had with Fury? Bro, he toyed with him.
All those years ago? All those years ago? No, I didn't. Yes, I did.
Yes, when Chisora was in his prime, when he was a better fighter, not a washed-up dude.
He wasn't a better fight. He was learning, just like both of them. But both of them were like 11-0 or 13-0 back then. They were still young fighters. So I don't know.
This was after he contended for the title against Vitali.
They were still young back then. He took.
You know what?
Those were young fighters. They took a lot of fights early.
Hold on. You always say, "Oh, let me finish," and all this. Well, you got to extend the same
Young,
person.
he was 32.
But here's my thing, right? So you're like Dillian Whyte got the leftovers of Vitaly Klitschko and Tyson Fury. That's what he got. Tyson Fury embarrassed Chisora. He embarrassed him. People felt sorry for Chisora halfway through that fight. In other words, he made him look like he didn't belong in the same league with him. Yes, Whyte caught him with a good shot, but he was those were very competitive fights. So you got to put that in perspective to a certain degree, right? So all I'm saying is, I don't have a problem with Dillian Whyte getting a shot. I think it's long overdue, and I think he should have gotten the shot, right? Does he have a puncher's chance? Yes, he does, because he has a hell of a hook. But you know he ain't going to win, Troy. You know he's not winning that fight, right?
You're on mute, Troy.
Yeah, he knows that. He knows that.
You're on mute. Take the mute off.
I'm just saying.
He doesn't know he's on mute.
No, go ahead and unmute yourself. It's cool.
I did not want to cut you off. That's why I stayed on mute.
Oh.
Yeah, but we can have a conversation. You know what I mean? Go ahead. Like you know, deep down, you know, he's not going to win. You know that, right?
It sounds like you're trying to convince yourself, because you obviously listen to me. Listen to me. I'm the mountain, and you're Muhammad. You shall not move me.
I mean, all these. I mean, that's cool and all. Like, do you have all these written down? Like all these little sayings you got?
No, I'm just super intelligent. It comes with demand.
I'm the lion, motherfucker. Okay, that's what I am. Okay, and this is the jungle. All right. I'm Zeus, and your god is just one of the other gods. All right,
I'm the guy with $500, and you're the guy with all the
Thor. All right,
goddamn
I'm Thor. You're just a fucking raindrop dropping during the fucking thunderstorm. All right, so what does that even mean? Like, oh, I'm this and I'm that, and okay, like I am the lion in the jungle, like that song or what? Like R. Kelly, like is that what
you're
this
a mountain,
is?
you're the brokest ass mountain.
Okay, but is that what we got? A little break it down. You've been saying you could break it down for us.
I'm the peanut butter and you're my
who you're talking to.
I'm the peanut butter and you're my jelly.
Shut up, Beeb.
Master and bastard.
Whoa, Beeb. Whoa. No, but in all seriousness, I just honest to God, or whatever God you believe in, I don't think he's gonna need God. In other words, that's why I keep making God references. Like you're hoping like God helps David beat Goliath. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Can I say something though, real quickly though? I can't believe, Troy, you discredit Tyson Fury went over T. Cunningham just because he got put down by a cruiserweight. Yeah, Joshua was the one who got humiliated by a cruiserweight. So you gotta keep that same energy, man. Same energy. I just wanted to say that.
But I hope he gets knocked out. That's it. I hope Tyson Fury gets knocked the fuck out.
I give Whyte at least 2 rounds to do so, and that's the first 2. Because he cannot fight for longevity.
I'll give him 3. He's got 3 rounds.
He's got to apply pressure early, and that's it.
After the fourth round, this is a different fight, man. After 4 rounds, it's a different fight.
Yeah. So you believe that Fury's going to stop Whyte?
I do.
Possible.
I do.
I think
he's gonna knock him out.
And you only believe that White could actually only take you out with his left hook. It's not like he has a right hand or anything, right?
Well, Troy, do you agree that White's going to have to work hard to get inside because he's the shorter guy and he has a shorter reach than Fury?
No, I don't believe that because his arms are very long. And as we have seen, smaller and shorter men get inside on Fury with no problem.
We've also seen Marius Watt go the full distance with Dillian Whyte.
Yes, a 273-pound White that was very depressed because they had him sit waiting on a B sample. Yes.
Yeah, and Marius Watt was a punching bag, right?
Poor White, the middle weight. So he struggled with the journeyman.
You know what about these shorter guys getting inside? Cunningham was a great athlete. White has shown that his footwork is not that good at this stage in the heavyweight division.
White's footwork has never been great.
White is very sloppy in the ring. Cunningham was a pretty.
Fury's very sloppy in the ring.
He is. But he's better than.
Fury did get dropped by
Crucial, y'all.
Dillian Whyte.
You gotta admit. Way more versatile than Dillian Whyte.
Why don't we, since we're bringing up Fury's fight from 2013 against Cunningham, why don't you guys look up what White was doing in 2013? Why don't we look at his weight?
I just
be my guest.
Was he serving that 2 years suspension?
If you're
Be
gonna
my guest.
2013, let's bring up 2013.
I'm simply bringing up, a name that's on his resume because he only has 4 of them. It doesn't matter about the year. I'm bringing up a name that people would know on his resume because it's so few of them that people would know.
How many names are on
Dillian Whyte's resume? Steve Cunningham, though, man. You can't do that.
When Steve Cunningham entered the ring that night, he was a heavyweight.
Yes, he was. I didn't call him a cruiserweight. Somebody else did. Yeah, that's true. I did. But he was a heavyweight that night. I apologize. He was a heavyweight. Just like Usyk, who just beat Joshua, is not a cruiserweight. Is heavyweight, correct?
Yeah,
right.
But
that's like saying that.
But you're devaluing the Cunningham win because the fact that he got dropped by a cruiserweight. Then again,
I'm devaluing the Cunningham win because he leaned on him to win. That's he's 6 foot not. He's 6'9", and he won in the laziest of ways. No.
I mean, you telling
I just want to say one thing real quick. Dillian Whyte has a win over the current undisputed Bridgerweight champion of the world. I just want to put that out there to say.
That's not cruiserweight.
But check this. In 2012, Dillian Whyte fought the 325-4 Sandor Balog. Okay. And then he didn't fight in 2013, and he fought again in 2014 and fought Ante Verunica, who was 3-1-1.
Make some tasty wine.
Guys, what are we talking about?
You talking about years. I didn't bring up years. You did. I talked about a named guy on somebody's resume.
I ain't going to let y'all do that, though. This whole, he was a heavyweight that night. That's like saying, Randy Couture fought James Toney. I mean, James Toney, he was in the octagon, so he was an MMA fighter. Look, he was an undersized heavyweight, okay? He came from...
Usyk, I guess, is not a heavyweight, right?
He's the same size as Holyfield was when Holyfield was both.
Yeah.
Usyk wasn't a heavyweight. And then... all those other fights that Cunningham had, I guess he wasn't a heavyweight. Cut it out, man. Just knock off the foolishness.
Cunningham the same size as Holyfield.
Is he a small heavyweight? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Point thing.
No, he's not.
Heavyweight.
Yeah, he is.
He's an average size heavyweight. Tyson's a small heavyweight.
Have heavyweights?
No, he's not. Tyson's a short heavyweight. He's not a small heavyweight.
Yes, he is.
He's small. Doesn't make size. Okay.
He's small. Tyson is no bigger than me. Tyson is no bigger than me.
Is Oscar Rivas?
Dude don't got no neck, bro. He's a white dude.
Troy, is Oscar Rivas a big heavyweight?
Let me see. Get up and flex. Let's see if that's
Tyson,
true. Let's see if
Rivas, as we know, is a smaller heavyweight. Knock it off, man.
All right.
You're not gonna do that.
They've all fought
some shadow boxing.
He's also undefeated heavyweight.
To land that left hook, Tyson Fury needs to be in range. And Tyson Fury has shown
size is not what makes you great, obviously. Size is not what makes you great.
So then I don't understand the Cunningham point.
Did Steve Cunningham go back to cruiserweight? Yes or no? After that fight?
No, he fought at heavyweight.
Yes, he did.
He stayed at heavyweight.
He went back to cruiserweight.
When? Because he wasn't a cruiserweight. Because he wasn't a cruiserweight when he fought Mansoor. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Glowacki fight was a cruiserweight, brother.
Yeah, he fought.
He was not a cruiserweight when he fought Mansoor.
Don't argue facts. This is just a fact. There was a cruiserweight fight.
Okay, great. We're going all over the place. This is why I said when I got on here, we should have just stuck to the fighting in the ring instead of money and everything else.
It's just a fact. It's not an opinion. We can argue facts.
You don't want to talk about money because you have none with your broke ass. Like I said, $500 on Tyson Fury, Mr. Brokeback Mountain. Okay? Now, see me or shut up?
I see. Here's the thing, right? I'm not going to entertain ignorance, but I will talk about boxing when anybody wants to talk about boxing. I'm not going to entertain ignorance because every panel that hold on, please. Every panel this dude comes on, he never talks boxing. Someone's always a house nigga. Someone's always broke, but he never talks about boxing. Do you pay attention to it? And you have the facts to go pull that up. He never talks about boxing ever.
I gotta jump in. Hold on. After the Tyson Fury loss, Steve Cunningham stayed at heavyweight. He fought Manuel Quezado, and then he fought Emmanuel Mansour. He never went back down to cruiser. He fought Glowacki in 2016.
Years later, he still made cruiser.
Years later.
Okay, if you're already a bona fide heavyweight, you're not going to make cruiserweight. Come on, stop.
He fought 5 heavyweight fights after the Fury fight.
Okay, but he still was able to make cruiserweight after that.
Cruiserweight is 200 pounds, bro.
And then he went back up to heavyweight after the Glowacki fight.
Okay.
Yeah. So
how much did it weigh for that fight?
For the what? The heavyweight fight?
How much did it weigh?
The same as Holyfield.
Okay, well, there you go. I mean, I'm just saying, like, all I'm saying is
you have to lose 5 pounds. Okay.
Anybody? Okay, look. Well, all I'm saying is, you guys are like, oh, come on, he was a heavyweight that night. Okay, but he was weighing like 205. He was weighing like, how much did homeboy over here Usyk weigh for the Joshua fight? Over 220. Okay, there you go. Cunningham never weighed that much.
Neither did Joe Lewis.
So when I say he's a small heavyweight, let's look at the weight. He's a tall toothpick. Okay, just because he's tall doesn't make him a big heavyweight.
He could fight at heavyweight, though.
I never said he couldn't fight. Did I say he cannot fight?
I don't want you to degrade Steve Cunningham. Man.
I'm not degrading him. I'm saying that Tyson Fury was dropped by a small dude, and if he gets caught like that by a bigger dude, he could get knocked out.
Steve Cunningham.
Okay, well,
man, he's a great fighter.
Dillian Whyte will use his jab and his natural strength, and he'll work his way on the inside and work Fury's body. Because no, I'm just breaking down how the fight's going to go because. I don't want, I'm breaking down how the fight's going to go. He's going to use that. He's going to, oh my God. Okay.
Steve Cunningham is not small.
No, he was breaking down the fight. Let him go.
He's lean. He's lean. He's not small. He's lean.
And let him go. He said he was going to break down the fight. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry, Troy. I apologize. But 100%.
Yeah, I apologize for that. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry, Troy.
He's just going to use that jab and fire it to Tyson's chest and to Tyson and to keep him at bay. And that's how he's going to slow him down. Because as we all know, if you jab to his chest or his stomach area, he doesn't come in that fast. He kind of hesitates. So he'll have to do that.
Let him finish. Okay. Let him finish.
You can respond after he's done.
Let him finish. Let him burn. Let him burn. Go ahead, Troy. I'm sorry.
That'll slow Tyson's Fury from coming in on him. And then by that point, he'll be able to work his arms and hit him on the arms with his right and his hook and all that, because Tyson's going to be wary of his hook. Well, we all know he has a right hand as well. So, and Fury gets caught by what punch? Either the overhand right or the straight right. Those are the 2 punches that he's pretty much open to get caught by, as we know. And White has both of those punches plus the left hook. So there's going to come a time where White's going to lapse. He might get a little wary. Tyson will pick up the pace then and start doing his thing. But as the fight goes on, because of those fights with White and because of the beatings and so forth, and because of the fact that he's battle worn, I'm talking about Fury, that's when you're going to see who's the stronger and more fresher fighter as the fight goes on into the later rounds. And I believe that's when White's going to finish him, because Tyson at this point is really damaged good. Deontay Wilder hit him with some flush shots, and his whole body just rippled. and he had shock in his eyes.
Fat, right?
He had shock in his eyes at that point. White was put to sleep, so he went to sleep. His body was relaxed. He didn't take a beating. He didn't take a beating. He was relaxed, so that really didn't hurt him overall. He was just relaxed. Boom, he was relaxed. Fury took a beating. He took a beating, and that's what's going to hurt him in the long run. So I can see the fight going 9. I can see the fight going 8 or 9 rounds, and White will TKO him.
So they're saying like,
here we go. Stop his big ass.
That was a great breakdown, except for the fat shaming part.
So you're saying he's kind of like Morales after the Barrera fight, something like that?
Can I respond to that? I mean, can I respond to that?
Shop worn, right? I mean,
look, Dillian Whyte took beatings from Anthony Joshua. He took a beating from Joseph Parker.
No, but he was knocked out.
He did not take a beating from. He did not take a beating from Parker.
Yes, he did.
What are you talking about?
You didn't see that 12th round when he got knocked down?
Yeah, I saw the 12th round when he got knocked down. That's one round he got knocked down in.
He was almost taken out. He was almost taken out.
When you get knocked out, you get reset, right? So it's all good.
Can I wait, hold on. Can I finish? He took a lot of punishment from Rivas. He took a lot of punishment from Marius Walkway. He shouldn't have been taking punishment in that fight. He took a lot of punishment from the two Cesaro fights. Knocked out by
in the first fight. In the first fight.
I'm changing.
No.
After that, Dan. After that, I'm changing my percentage.
Dillian Whyte's a defensive wizard. He never been hit. What are you talking about?
90-10, Dan. I'm changing it to 90-10. That was Dan. Just made me lower my percentage. 10%.
Okay, in the first fight, I actually think he lost to Derek Chisora actually by a few points. That fight should have gone to Chisora. That's just my opinion. And both of them took a beating because White was. They were both. Well, White was very young and inexperienced. That was his first really. You gonna let me finish, man? White at that time. White at that time wasn't. That was his first big step up. You can't say Joshua was a big step up because they were on the same level. They were both young. That was his first big step up when he fought Chisora. And he held. No. He held his own against him, but I really believe he lost. The second fight, he fought a more patient fight. I didn't see him taking punishment in that fight. Parker fight, he didn't take punishment in that fight. Whoever else you named, when he fought Walk, he was 273 pounds. He didn't take punishment in that fight.
So I have
He didn't take punishment in that fight.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Why should anyone take your opinion seriously? I have $500 to put behind my point of view, my opinion, and all you have is residents on Brokeback Mountain.
Okay, you see how we talking boxing, and he still can't jump in and add anything. You see my point, right?
I'm talking boxing.
We talking boxing.
I'm talking boxing, and I have $500 that says my opinion is right. Okay, you have Brokeback Mountain. So my question to you is, who
gentlemen,
is full of
gentlemen, you see how we were talking boxing and breaking down a fight?
Yeah.
What?
Listen,
did you hear anything about a fight coming out of this boy's mouth here? Did you hear anything coming out of this little child's mouth? Thank you.
Has always been a part of boxing. Yes. Okay.
Are we talking fights or are we talking betting right now? What we breaking down the fight?
We're talking
Thank you.
Hold up, fight doctor. Let me respond to Troy. Troy. You honestly need to go back at Dillian Whyte and watch his fights against Joseph Parker.
I don't have to watch him. I watched him more than enough. He did not take up any punishment. He did not take a beating in that fight. He did not take a beating in any of those fights. I understand perfectly.
Mayweather, bro, he took no punishment.
That's not true either. I understand what you're doing, but you have your opinion, and then there's the facts to it. You have your opinion, and you have the facts. You want to be sarcastic? That's fine with me. That's fine.
Him like fresh. When you get knocked the fuck out, you're fresh again. You get back up. You're fresh.
Okay, listen to me. Put away the sarcasm. When you get knocked out, your whole body gets relaxed. You don't take a beating. This man, I would listen to me. It's called being concussed. I would much rather get knocked out cold and relaxed than to go through 11 rounds of a beating, 12 rounds of a beating. I would much rather get concussed.
It's the same as anesthesia, Troy.
Knock me out. Knock me out.
It's the same as anesthesia when you get put to sleep before surgery.
Something similar to that. You're knocked out. Yes.
Can I ask you a question, though?
Yes.
this whole resume thing, is it going to matter on the night of the fight? Can you
Nothing matters besides who's left standing at the end of the fight, and you know that.
Can't bring the
And you
resume
know
in the
that.
ring. You can't bring the resume in the ring.
No, but while we talking boxing, you can't before the fight. It doesn't matter because at the end of the fight is who wins, who's left, who the judges say is the man, or who is left standing if there's a knockout. And in my opinion, I believe Dillian Whyte's gonna be the one left standing over Fury because he is shop worn.
Yeah,
he just is.
Oh, so it's not. So I just want to ask you though. It's not because he's a better fighter. It's because Fury is shop worn.
Fury has more technical skill. Listen to me. Fury has more technical skills than Whyte. We're not debating that, but he is shop worn. Those fights with Wilder, he took flush shots from a guy that can actually punch with one hand. He's in a fight now with a guy that can punch with two hands, and he doesn't just. And he's naturally strong. He ain't just a puncher. He is naturally strong. Okay.
All of this shit that you were talking, and yet you are not willing to put up $500 and bet against the fighter that you call shop
like that. He doesn't want to gamble.
With your broke ass.
Well, not everybody.
Does anybody else want to break down the fight? Because does anybody else want to break down the fight, please? Please.
Well, Troy, I don't understand. If you say Tyson Fury shot born, then why aren't you acknowledging that Dillian Whyte was equally in tough fights and took a lot of punishment in those fights?
He did not take. Okay, you're talking about punishment. What punishment did he take round after round?
Marius walk. Marius walk. Hold on.
It's his Brokeback Mountain internet.
No. I saw that fight. That's when he was 273 and he looked like, Rick Ross around the chest area. Right.
Troy,
I know what you're talking about.
Troy,
I know what you're talking about.
Can we acknowledge this? Troy, can we acknowledge this?
What's up, Troy?
You're in the heavyweight division where these guys can crack. The old cliche, anyone over 200 can crack, which some can, some can't, whatever. But these are big guys and they're hitting each other. Is it safe to say that they all got miles on them?
They all got miles.
All of them got miles on them, but this guy has a.
Yeah, Troy, you gotta work out
he's
your
been on
Wi-Fi,
super
bro.
hot.
You got to work out this internet, baby.
Yeah, this Wi-Fi has the stamina of Dillian Whyte. What's going on?
What? Can y'all hear me or can't you hear me? Can you hear me or can't you hear me? No, which one is it? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, you can.
No,
you can't.
Yes, your internet is having issues.
Okay, good.
Why don't you
There's every athlete. Listen to me. Every boxer. We're gonna stick to boxing. Every boxer has miles on him.
Stop stealing your neighbor's internet with your broke ass.
Punch. He's been punched.
This is gonna be quiet at the end of round 7.
Man, somebody got Earthlink internet, bro.
Troy, jump out and jump back in, Troy, because your internet.
Turn off the camera. Maybe that'll work. Just turn off the camera. You'll use less bandwidth without the camera, but yeah.
Yeah, look, man, look. I appreciate the debate, but I just want him to, when he comes back in, I just want him to understand that Dillian Whyte has taken a lot of punishment in his previous fights too, just like
yes, even that Joe Parker fight was a lot of punishment, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
He was hanging on the rope, got dropped.
All these guys got miles on them, man. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean, look, I understand he likes Dillian Whyte. That's his guy. But you got to keep it fair, man. Keep it real, man. You can't say one guy is shot born and not acknowledge the other guy that he's facing potentially is in the same situation.
And the AJ fight was a round 9 knockout. So he took punishment all the way up to round 9 and then got stopped.
That's true.
Yeah, so when we do this, it's like, bro, it got to make sense. You got dropped against Parker. I mean, you got hurt against Parker. You got hurt against Rivas. He got hurt against Rivas as well. So you got to think.
Yeah,
and he still went decisions. He went decisions in those fights. So he took punishment, like Troy is saying. He said Wilder, Fury took a lot of punishment in his Wilder fight. He went 11 rounds of a beating. But, it's the same thing with Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte has been in those type of fights. And Dillian Whyte has went to decision in those. And the Tajora fights were punishing.
Yeah, he took some punishment and beatings in those fights.
Both these guys had long roads, man. Both these guys had long roads.
I just didn't like the fact he's using the age. Well, he was 22 at the time. Like, don't matter. He was 272 pounds. Like, don't matter. You took a beating. It don't matter. It don't matter, bruh. But anyways, look, like I said, I like Troy, man, but dude, you got to be consistent. You got to keep it fair, man. That's all I got to say. Keep it fair. Keep it balanced.
Yeah, I agree, bro. And how do you see the fight going?
Me, personally, Dillian. I'll give Dillian a puncher's chance of winning the fight, but based off his technical deficiencies and the fact that he's been, look, we gotta take this into account. He's been knocked out badly in 2 fights. One recently with the Povetkin one. I mean, he's slow footed. He's got a good left hook. I'll give him that. He's been working on the jab. His jab is improved, but he's a shorter guy and he's got the reach disadvantage, which is about 7 inches, which is I think that's another big factor there. So all that and Tyson Fury, even though I think his punch resistance it may not be the same, but I think he's got more tools than Dillian Whyte. He can beat you from long range. He can beat you up close. He's got great durability, great endurance. So I'm going to heavily favor Tyson Fury to win the fight. I mean, it's going to be an uphill battle for Dillian to win it. I'm not saying he can't. That's why I said. That's why I'm giving him a decent 20% chance, as you want to call it, because that's all he's got. It's a puncher's chance. That's the way I see it. By stoppage, by Tyson Fury, by stoppage.
I'm giving him a 10% chance, and I think the defense and the stamina is going to be the big issues.
Yeah.
And a lot of times too, doesn't set up that hook. He'll lunge in and leap in with it, and that's why he gets hit with uppercuts like he did with Povetkin, right?
Yeah.
And I think from the outside he's going to get peppered by Fury's jab, and Fury's going to be setting off the straight right hand, right down the middle from Dillian Whyte. I think the jab is going to really disrupt Dillian Whyte. It's going to give him a hard time getting set, and he doesn't have the foot speed to get underneath it, and he doesn't really, and he does stand straight up a lot of times. He doesn't bend his knees and get low and bob and weave his way in. He stands straight up, right?
Yeah.
And if he does that, he's gonna have a hard time getting inside. And as you said, Dan, his feet aren't the quickest in the world.
Yeah.
And a lot of times too, he throws one punch at a time, doesn't put the shots together. He's not a combination guy. I just think that like you said, Fury's got more ways to win, but I think as the fight wears down, I think Fury's gonna put a lot of damage on him from the outside.
Yeah.
And as the rounds go by, I think Fury's going to start getting inside on him, and he may take the fight to the inside and start muscling him and roughing him up and take him out.
Yeah.
Hit him with a short right over the top and set up the uppercut up inside and just take him out.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good point.
That combination he finished Wilder with. Did you see that uppercut? He came up with the left uppercut, beautiful left uppercut, and then he came with the right hand over the top. He could do that same. He could do that same combination to Dillian Whyte, man. The way Dillian Whyte moves, the way he leans into shots and falls forward a lot of times too.
Yeah,
and that happens too because not only because he's got slow feet, but because he's so over anxious, his upper body gets ahead of his lower body sometimes.
True. Sometimes his reaction time is pretty slow too, Dillian. So
yeah,
that's another
thing.
He
has no chance, pretty much, is what you're saying, right?
10%. I'm giving him 10%.
That means he has no chance.
No,
10% is better than 0.
Exactly.
He has no chance, is what you're saying.
He has a slim chance, slim and none, but Slim just left. Slim just left town.
Let me ask the panel a question. Before the first Wilder fight, once you heard Fury and Wilder, did you have Fury winning that fight, the first Wilder fight?
No.
Yes.
I didn't.
I didn't know.
Because you come off the layoff. You come off the layoff, though, Troy. It wasn't just.
I didn't either.
I picked Fury.
No. Dillian Whyte came off the layoff against Walker, whatever it is, but that didn't matter, did it? So
wait, you compared Dillian Whyte.
Hold up, Dan. Troy, I have it on video. I picked Fury to beat Klitschko the first time, and I said
Wilder.
I picked him to beat Wilder all 3 times. Yes, I did.
Okay.
It's on video.
Okay. You're one of the few because I don't know where all these Fury fans came from, and now all this power.
Dan, who's the biggest Fury fan on YouTube? Dan?
And all of that stuff.
Dan, tell him who's the biggest Fury fan on YouTube right now.
Because
Beeb.
Okay, listen. I understand all that.
I'd like to know where does Mr. Graham
I understand all that. White has had all these flaws throughout his whole career, right? Why is it he's only got beat by 2 top guys, and he's fought top guys? If he's so worthless and messed up and flawed, why is he only got you giving a fighter 10%. He has bad footwork.
I give him the same.
He lunges. He has bad stamina.
My
You
question
just
to
said he was
Mr.
ruthless.
So
You just said he was ruthless.
My
Troy,
question to
answer your
Mr. Brokeback
question
Mountain is why do you keep pulling these
He
straw
still
man
was coming off a
arguments
layoff before them
out of your
tune-ups, Nick.
ass, making claims that nobody actually made? Now you're the one who wants to talk about who wants to bitch and moan about when are we going to talk boxing? Well, we're talking boxing, and you, sir, Mr. Brokeback, are pulling all of these straw man arguments out of your ass. Nonsense. Nobody made the claim that Tyson Fury was invincible. Okay, that's nonsense that you bring up because you have no argument, just like you have no money with your broke ass.
Can somebody else speak? Because I refuse to listen to this petulant boy.
Well, you're gonna listen because you're gonna listen, Mr. Brokeback.
No, I'm not.
Because you have no opinion.
No,
okay, you make no sense, and you make no money with your broke ass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
you know what I'm gonna do to you if we ever meet?
Yeah,
I'm gonna put you over my knee and spank you like the child that you are.
I am heterosexual.
That's what I'm gonna do to you. I'm gonna put you over my knee and spank you over like the little child that you are.
I'm not down with the Brokeback Mountain business. Okay, now
can we stick to boxing because this guy obviously has penis envy when it comes to me. So can we please stick to boxing?
But I'm not down, bro. I'm not down.
Please.
I'm not down.
Please stick to boxing, please.
Well,
because nothing he says
about boxing until you brought up your alternative lifestyle.
Anything to pertain to boxing.
We were talking boxing until you start pulling these straw man arguments out of your ass.
Please.
With your broke ass.
How many times is he gonna say that somebody's pulling something out of his ass? Let's stick to boxing, please.
All right,
please.
Fair enough. Let's do that. But
I'm going to keep reminding you that you're pulling straw man arguments out of your ass every time you pull a straw man argument out of your ass, which has been a lot lately.
Tyson Fury is a 6-1 favorite right now.
That's great.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Huge odd. That's huge.
I don't care.
That's fine. I'm just letting you
Tyson
know. Basically,
Tyson,
Troy.
Tyson was a 50-1 favorite against Buster. And guess what happened?
Well, Buster Douglas is a better fighter technically than
No. You didn't say that before the fight. Right.
Well, hold on. Troy.
You didn't say that before the fight. Nobody did.
Here, as B just said, the odds are 6-1, right? What does that tell you? That tells you that we broke down the fight exactly what the odds maker is saying.
That tells me I don't give a damn. I don't gamble.
But hey, you asked us about our opinion. We told you how the fight. We broke down the fight. Me and Beeb.
No, actually, none of you broke down the fight except for Beeb. Except for Beeb gave some kind of breakdown. I didn't hear Chandler. I didn't hear the other guy with the B. Dan the man. I didn't hear you break down. I didn't hear. I didn't hear the young billionaire neither.
Well,
so you know,
6-1 odds tells you that.
No, I want you all to break it down. Give me your own opinion. Don't give me
I
when? Yeah, you did. But when did you do it? Then?
I did.
When?
You probably wasn't on when you left. I broke it down when you just got back in.
I actually broke it down.
I can still hear. I can still hear when I wasn't on. You didn't break down anything. Why don't you give your breakdown now? Go ahead and give your breakdown, Dan.
I'm going to give my breakdown. Okay, first things first. If you want to do the matchup between Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte, this is how I see it. Dillian Whyte, he's got 3 rounds to do it. Okay, and I think he's capable of trying to, to make things happen in 3 rounds. He is capable. He's got that puncher's chance. That's all I'm going to give him. But does he have it? Let me lay out the pros. He's got a good jab. He's improved on that. He's got a wonderful left hook. And he's very powerful on the inside. I'll give Dillian Whyte credit for that. However, his disadvantages is what's going to be a telling factor here. He's a shorter guy. He's got a 4-inch disadvantage height-wise. He's got a 7-inch reach disadvantage. And he's got slow feet. His defense is not great. His head movement is not that great. And he's got cardio issues or stamina issues or, endurance. He's got that issues. So, and he's been in tough fights. He's taken a lot of punishment. If you take all those things into account, Tyson Fury, on the other hand, can box you a long range. He can fight you up close. He's got good defense, but at the same time, Tyson Fury's got the punch, his punch resistance is going to be an issue going into the fight. I would say that. But my point is, if you put all those things together, I just think Tyson Fury's got more in his toolbox than Dillian Whyte. He's going to win that fight, man. And I think Dillian's going to gas out in 4 rounds if he doesn't get him out before then, and he's going to get stopped. That's the way I see it.
Okay, you gave your opinion on both fighters, but not a breakdown of how the fight was going to go.
I just broke it down.
No. Okay.
Tyson Fury got the better skills and got the better coach. He gonna whoop his ass. I'm telling you.
You're giving me your opinion on things, but you're not saying okay.
I just told you the technical breakdown.
No, that's not a breakdown. That's just your. Oh, okay. Hold on, real quick. You didn't say okay. He's gonna do this. He's gonna move his way in this way.
Troy, I just said it. He's gonna box him long range. He could do that. He's gonna keep him at distance because Dillian can't get past a good jab. He's got very slow head movement.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
He doesn't react to feints very well. He does not react to feints very well. That is a fact.
How many losses does Dillian have? 2, and it's 2 to the top.
He got knocked out badly in those losses, but he doesn't react to feints very well.
How do you get knocked out good? How do you get knocked out good? How do you get knocked out good, then, man?
Povetkin was a top heavyweight. Is that your argument? Because if that's what your argument,
Dan the man.
If that's your argument, then it just
thank you very much. Anyone else want to give their breakdown?
Mr. Brokeback Mountain is.
Please.
Okay, completely clueless. What's your broke ass? Like I said, I got $500.
Okay. Does anyone else want to give their
$500?
Does anyone else want to give their breakdown, please?
The point is 6-1 tells us that we broke the fight down perfectly.
Vegas
no.
Billy.
6-1 just gives you someone's opinion.
14%, man. 14% chance of victory for White.
Is there anyone else?
No.
Like
actually, you know what? See,
please.
What 6-1 says is that the people who are actually betting on this fight, people who actually have money to bet on this fight, people who are not Mr. Brokeback Mountain, that's where the money is going. The money is going on Tyson Fury. All right. Now that's not an opinion. That's a fact. That's a fact, sir. And the odds reflect the fact that Tyson Fury is a favorite. This is how people are betting. Okay, so maybe you need to man up. Okay, all right, and go ask your mama to loan you $500. Okay, and then we have a bet.
I'm gonna punch you in your fucking face if I ever see you. I'm just gonna tell you that.
Your broke ass is not
Thank you
gonna
very
do
much.
shit. Your broke ass won't do shit. Okay, what's your broke ass?
Troy, what's the weight right now? What's the weight?
Oh, I actually lost some weight. I'm down to 250 now, and it's just gonna keep going down. I'm gonna get in good shape for him.
How tall?
Fight doctor's gonna need a doctor if we ever meet face to face.
Fight doctor's like 165, man. He's not in your weight class.
Listen, I will be more than happy to make an exception for Mr. Brokeback Mountain, but I tell you what.
You ever hear about the rabbit and the bear?
No. I tell you what.
Right?
It would need to be. It would.
You know exactly what the bear did to the rabbit, right?
It would need to be in the octagon and not in the boxing.
And the scorpion, the frog, and the tortoise
it
and
would
the
need to
hare.
be in the
Okay.
octagon, not in the boxing ring.
Right.
Okay, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop you on your neck.
How tall are you, Troy?
I'll drop you right on your neck.
6 foot.
6 foot.
And then I will choke your ass out. And that's exactly what the fuck would happen with your broke ass. Now come see me, bitch.
Oh man.
All right,
Okay, let's get back to boxing, guys.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Can we please get back to boxing? And fight doctor, you know what, man? I apologize to myself, for being so weak and letting myself go to threat. I apologize to myself. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have been that weak. I should stay under control all the time because number one, I don't know you, and the good Lord will make it so that we'll probably never see each other. So I got weak. I had my moment of weakness, and I said what I said, and I apologize to myself. I'm sorry.
All right, fair enough. Let's go ahead and move along here. So like I said, though, man, as B pointed out the odds and the percentage of White winning the fight, that's pretty much what we broke down the fight, man. You just can't, you can disagree with that, but just don't say we're delusional to saying that's the case.
I never said you were delusional, Dan, man. I never did, not once.
Okay, but you kind of implied that way.
Troy, it seems like you're incredulous to our opinion. Like you can't believe that we're saying these things for some reason. Is that a fair assessment?
And you seem very truculent to my opinion. You want to swap words with me? That's fine. I can do that.
You seem like you're very cantankerous right now about our opinion.
That's good. You seem that you're very defiant as to Fury winning the fight. But you have to understand that nothing is defined and there's no destiny here. We shall see what's going to happen when and if the fight happens.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now I'm having fun. See, I'm having fun now.
Yeah, look, Troy, here's the thing. If you believe in White, we got no problem with that. No problem with that at all. We're just giving us an honest.
Do you believe in miracles, Troy?
Yeah, he believes in them.
I'm a miracle.
Do you believe in
I'm a miracle. I'm a miracle. No, listen, True story. The doctor told my mother that I was going to die at 12.
Why?
That's because I have a heart issue.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It runs in the family.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, man? You're here.
I'm happy.
That's a
I'm
blessing.
happy you're here, Troy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I know. Thank you.
I'm
thank you.
happy you're here, man. I mean that. I mean that.
Yeah, but
After the white fight, you won't be happy, but yeah.
Yeah, but let me. Here's the one thing. Here's the one thing I gotta say though, man. I think it's kind of strange that
I wish I could watch that fight with him.
Yeah, it's kind of strange though that Hearn and White are quiet after that purse bid took place yesterday. So
no comment at all. I did nothing. No interviews. Nothing.
No, just something that we need to be cautious about because usually when a purse bid has been announced, whoever the winner is, then the fight's announced. I know Tyson Fury and his team did it with BT Sport, but the other side will also be along, go along with the the announcement as well. So it's kind of bizarre, but that's something we need to keep an eye at.
Has Frank Warren done any interviews?
Well, he did one today with Queensberry on the channel. It's up there on YouTube right now.
What did he say?
I didn't get to listen to it. I listened to some parts of it. He saying pretty much he was thrilled how he won the purse bid, how they're going to map out the fight. It seems like they haven't quite negotiated after the purse bid. So
they feel pretty confident the fight's going to get done.
Yeah, he feels confident about it. But
so again, Queensberry has a YouTube channel?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I learned something new today. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do. They upload fights.
For a while. But
okay.
Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, that's a encouraging sign right there. But it is interesting to see why White and Hearn hasn't said anything yet. So that's something we need to keep an eye out.
So what's the targeted date they saying? April 30th or something like that?
Yeah, April 30th, I believe.
I think that's a little bit optimistic, man, because that's 2 months to negotiate and get this in the training camps and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, but White's been training nonstop since his last win.
You think both guys have been trying to do some because Fury's been doing some conditioning work too, so maybe they're ready. They're trying to be able to stay in reasonable shape.
White's actually ready because he hasn't returned to the UK. He's in Portugal and he's been training ever since he won that fight against Povetkin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's just hope this thing, they could come up with a deal. I mean, because at this point, like I said, though, it is kind of strange that the opposing side who lost the purse bid hasn't said anything. So we got to keep an eye on that. Hopefully Hearn does come out on Monday and puts out a statement or some sort. That gives us the reassurances that the fight is on. They're going to go through it. But again, it is interesting to see how they're going to react because this is the first time that Dillian has been in a fight where they're in a long time where he has no control and there's no say-so, and whatnot.
What does that mean, Dan the man? What does that mean?
Well, that means is that he's so used to dictating terms his way when fights have happened ever since after the Joshua loss. Since he's not in that position anymore, and this is one of the reasons why they wanted to go to purse bid because they wanted control of the fight. They were very confident they were going to win it, and since they lost the first bid, they're quiet about it. That's my point.
So listen to me. I did an interview with his brother, and I said to him the same thing I'm going to say to you. Tell your brother to take this fight because there will not be a third fight. And I brought up Mansour, where Mansour never got his fair shot at Wilder. He did everything that he needed to do the right way, and Wilder never gave him a shot. If he walks away from this, there will not be a third opportunity, and he'll retire bitter. So take the fight. I don't care if it was $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. I don't care. See, me in that situation, I'm just fighting, period. Because at the end of the day, anything I lose today, I'm gonna make up tomorrow. But God, even if I lose, I'm gonna make you remember me.
Put it all out there, right, Troy? Put it all out there.
I'm gonna break something on you. I'm gonna oh my God, I'm gonna make you remember me. I swear it on everything I believe. I'm gonna stay focused, but I'm gonna make you remember me.
And that's a fair point, and I agree with that. You gotta take your shot when you have a chance to do it.
You're gonna shoot your shot, right, Troy?
You better take your shot. But here's the thing: I would not be surprised to hear, and I'm letting you guys be cautioned about. Don't be surprised if somehow, some way, and I say Tyson Fury won't pull out. Either side could pull out, so we don't know what's gonna happen. But don't be surprised to hear that Dillian Whyte decides to fight Joshua in the rematch. That could come up. That could happen.
Yeah, that could happen.
You're saying,
or it could be a,
Joshua saying he could fight Josh in a rematch instead of Joshua fighting Usyk?
That could happen. The reason why, bidders are, promoters are bitter about each other. I've noticed that in the UK. I'm not saying that happens here in the US, but especially in the UK between Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn. So there's a possibility, and this is just a theory. I'm not saying this is true. There's a possibility that Eddie Hearn is advising Dillian Whyte right now. There's a possibility he's telling him, hey, mate, don't take the fight. Get out of the fight. I can get you, potentially more money for fighting Joshua in the rematch. So that so that way he can maintain control. So that way he can take care of the pot, and he could do things his way with his fighters.
Dillian Whyte's his own man, though. He's his own
That's
manager.
what I'm saying. That's what I was about to say. Can I just point out, Dan the Man, has anyone ever told you sound like Fred from Barbershop?
I do.
Yeah, you do.
Man, I don't know if that's a good compliment, but all right.
Yeah.
He's really get the smoke in the sky.
I would
the
add,
man is really get the smoke.
I would add that,
yeah, you're the punching bag in the base, Troy.
I would add that if Dan the Man sounds like Fred from Barbershop Conversations, that the difference is that Dan actually makes sense.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Fight Doctor. Appreciate that, but yeah, like I said, guys, just don't rule out the realm of possibility. That's all I'm saying, man, because it is kind of strange that the other side haven't even put out, jointly put out the announcement about the fight. So that's like,
I bet you we're gonna start hearing a lot of information on Monday. What's gonna happen?
Yeah, that's what I think we should do, but it is kind of strange though.
This
but
ain't
that's just
gonna
my
be
opinion on it.
This ain't gonna be easy negotiations though. I don't think.
Yeah, it is not gonna be easy. So we're kind of not out of the woods yet on this. So. Let's just hope it gets done, man. Let's just hope.
Dillian Whyte should get 7.4 million. Just take it.
And
take the fight.
Well, here's what I don't understand, right? Is how do you have a purse bid when we don't actually know what the split is going to be?
With the arbitrator, right?
Right, because the arbitrator has to rule on what the actual split will be.
Yeah.
And I do not ever remember an instance where there was a fight of this caliber, at least, that had gone to purse bid without the split already having been determined.
That's true. That usually gets determined before purse bid comes up, because this happened with the Golovkin and Danny Jacobs situation, because Danny Jacobs protested about the split, and he wrote a request to get it increased. The WBA denied that request, so he said, you know what? If that's the case, I'm going to take it to purse bid. Not before he did that. He decided he wanted to negotiate with the Golovkin's team. Say, hey, look, I deserve a higher spread. If you guys don't give it to me, then I'm going to take it to purse bid. Then when they almost went to purse bid, Golovkin's team came back and says, you know what? Let's go ahead and give you what you want, because we don't want to lose this fight to Showtime. Because Al Heyman had the deeper pockets at the time to outbid HBO, whoever, for the Golovkin and Jacobs fight. So,
yeah, man.
Anyhow, that's a good point, Fight Doctor. But who knows? Maybe they already ruled, and but they should have made that public if they've already ruled. The arbitrator, that is. That should have already been public. But yeah, it is kind of strange, though. So that's why I say that we're not quite out of the woods yet as far as this fight, even though the purse bid was won by Warren and Queensberry, but they still have to negotiate for the fight. There's a possibility it's going to get pushed back. There's a possibility that one fight is going to pull out. So we're still in that territory where it may not happen. So, yeah.
All right, guys. I think I'm going to wrap this up, man. It was a pleasure having you all on. Let's cross our fingers and hope this thing happens.
Same here, man.
And let's all be cautious. Let's all be optimistic, or cautiously optimistic, like I like to put it. But thank you, everyone in the chat. Till next time, Beeb is out. Talk to y'all soon. And everyone have a great day, man.
Peace.
Thanks a lot, Beeb. Peace, guys.
Hey! You gotta let everybody tell them what is.
Oh, go ahead.
Where
Go
they
ahead.
can be
Go
reached
ahead.
and everything like that.
Go ahead, Fight Doc. Go ahead, Troy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, you can reach me at the Troy Graham Experience and at Major Key Boxing, and also I'm cooking duck tonight and shrimp. If anybody's concerned about that, Fight Doctor, kiss my ass.
All right. Take care, everybody.
And once again,